meet the Georgia Bulldogs, you're gonna feel a bulldog. Standing up, cheering September till the 1st of June.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Row 60, a Georgia football podcast. My name is Clark Gaines. Joining me today, as always, Adam Thornton.
Boom, baby.
And last year's Row 60 Pick'em League winner, Mr. Trey McCay.
Go Dogs. Go Dogs. Mr. Trey McCay. Glad to have you with us today, Trey. In the building, too. In studio, live, baby.
Yeah.
Woo!
This is episode number 81. We've got a very exciting episode for y'all today. All three of us are going to walk through each season of this regular season of college football, and we're going to talk about the best games this season. And boys,
That's right.
there are a lot of good games. We've got a list full of them, and it's going to be a fun season.
Man, just looking through this list, Clark, I mean, just golly, with how the conference realignment, not only in the SEC, but the Big Ten, everywhere, you can't help but just get fired up with looking at this, man. And just the newness of it is something that's uncharted waters, and can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait. A lot of big out-of-conference matchups, too.
Absolutely.
The new Big Ten.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
Ten. That's right.
Trey, let's talk to you, man. Let's introduce you to the people. We got to know you a little bit before the show. Adam has known you for, 10 years?
Oh, yeah.
Almost 10 years.
That's
Wow.
right.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe your family, where you live, where you're from, what you do, that sort of thing, and let her rip.
Yeah, I grew up in Madison County, Iowa to be specific. Played pretty much every sport growing up, baseball and basketball in high school. Played college baseball, Piedmont College.
Okay.
But dog fan for life. I mean,
Awesome.
Dad went there. My aunts, uncles. I got a lot of. My sister graduated from there.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think go back a few generations. My great granddad played
Oh,
at Georgia.
wow.
Awesome.
As in
There you go.
football?
Early 1900s.
Nice.
The
Love it.
start of the century, not the late
Yeah.
1900s. Okay. So back when the leather helmets were.
Oh, man.
Yes, sir.
So
Real
I've been,
football.
But
right
I've
there.
been, I mean, we used to be season ticket holders. Unfortunately, we are not anymore. But with the way of technology and big screen TV, it's
Yeah, and AC.
an AC.
And AC in the fridge right there, the bathroom right there. Understand
No
that.
lines.
And I actually bought a projector last year to watch on our. I built a new deck last year.
There you go.
Got a nice projector to watch.
There you
on
go.
Heck
So
yeah.
Grill and smoke out there. Be
grill
good
and
to go.
smoke. Start early, finish late.
There you go, brother.
Nice.
I love it. I
Nice.
love it. No, I've known Trey a long time, and I used to be his family farm serviceman, and in the chicken industry. So Trey and them, they farm over there in Madison County, cattle and chickens, man. So great people. Love Trey, his dad, his whole family. Been a blessing getting to know them, and a blessing having him on this show, Trey. So we're ready to rock and roll, man.
I'm sure I kept Adam a few extra hours talking. Him and my dad both after hours when he's.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. What
Talking
having
dogs
it.
or-
Great memories, great
Absolutely.
times.
Adam
Great
talking
time.
about Georgia football?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no,
Great.
Hard
no.
to believe.
Hard to
that.
believe it. That's right. That's right. So,
Oh, man,
I
that's a
love it.
topic. If you're trying to get somewhere, trying to be somewhere, that's something you don't want to start talking to Adam Thornton
Yeah. Oh yeah.
about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's exactly-
The world will stop.
Yeah.
On its axis. Just
And that's
stop right
okay.
there.
Let me
That's
clarify.
Right.
That's
That's
all
right.
right.
That's right. That's right.
The
That's
world
right.
needs a little bit more football chat.
You dang right.
So-
That's right.
That's why we
right.
do this podcast, is to meet people like you, Trey, like-minded people who just love the dogs, love college
Yeah,
football.
yeah.
Want to just have a good time. But so was there a specific moment, Trey, where you were like, man, I am a Georgia Bulldog?
I was probably 8, 9, 10 years old, somewhere there. Christmas, one year, Dad got me a video cassette. So
Yes.
we're going to date myself a little
Yes,
bit.
I love it.
1980.
Wow.
So it's just highlights of that season. I think, in fact, a couple episodes ago for y'all started off with the Bulldog song.
Oh yeah.
And that,
oh yeah.
that was one of the theme songs in that video. So,
Oh, yeah.
But I can remember watching Herschel Walker up in Tennessee, and
That's
then,
right.
I mean, all the way to Scott Warner and
Yes, sir.
in the national championship game, picking those balls off.
Yes,
So,
sir. That's a great VHS. My mom had it. I've seen it. You're talking, the bulldog bite right there.
That's
Clisby
it.
Clark's got them all around the piano on the butt smear, the old practice field, and
Yeah.
then it cranks up into the reel with the highlight. Great video. Great
Yes.
video.
Yeah.
Very much so.
That's what we need to do, Clark. We need to find a snippet of that VHS. I need to get that to you.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I have it. So we need to put this out. Like like the Clisby Clark, when the whole 1980 team, like this time of year is preseason, singing with him, the piano on the practice field, and that clip. It'll be good. We'll have to put
like
that out
that,
for
yeah.
everybody to see. You hadn't seen it. Trey,
Sure
great
enough.
video.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah, that means you know you're a real dog when you've seen that. When you
Yeah.
grew up with that VHS, that's exactly
I'm
right.
pretty sure we had to buy two. I'm pretty sure I wore the first one out. So.
There you go, brother. Love it. Love it. Love
Oh,
it. Love
man.
it.
That's good stuff. So Trey, once again, for those who don't know, Trey was our Pick'em League winner last year. And so we do this Pick'em League. This is year 2. Well, year 3 is coming up. I'll release some more information about that because we've actually had some people asking about it. But the winner gets not only to be a guest on the podcast with us, but that trophy right there in front of Adam, the Row 60, I don't know what we're going to call it, the Row 60 Pick'em League Champion Trophy. And on there is Trey McCay. There's your name, man.
Isle of Georgia, 2023.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
Yes,
right above
sir.
that is 2022 Sandy Cross, Georgia. Lee South.
Lee South.
Hey, Lee, Trey, listen to this. Yeah. Lee, yesterday, he texted me, said, hey, don't let Trey get too comfortable with that trophy.
That's right.
You got to defend it now.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Oh, man. Well, good stuff, y'all. Once again, we're going to hop into the best games this season. So that doesn't necessarily mean the most, the highest ranked games. That doesn't mean the games in which College Game Day will be going.
Right.
These are the ones that are the most, maybe the most entertaining or will be the most entertaining. It could be the one that you think is going to live up to the hype. So we're thinking along those lines here. And we're going to run through, once again, each week. I'm going to start with week 0, and then we'll move. It'll go Clark, Trey, Adam. And we're just going to rotate like that. Y'all good with that?
That sounds great. Hey, Trey's got his notes. He's ready to go,
he
man.
does.
Look at that.
Print it
I
out.
love it. I love it.
He's got stuff highlighted,
Golly.
stuff in blue ink.
I see Dylan Rayola up, and not give a little teaser. Dylan Rayola at the top. I can't wait to hear about this.
I don't want to be a bumbling, stumbling.
No, that's great. You got it.
I got to keep myself straight.
I love it.
'cause
That's being prepared and ready. I love it.
Otherwise, I'm liable to talk around in circles.
Nah, gonna be good.
That will be okay, even if we do that. So, all right, week 0, folks, which is what, like, I don't know, 2 weeks from now?
It's not
It's
even
here.
2 weeks.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Gosh, we're so close. Week 0, Saturday, August 24th. We got 2 games, guys.
Two games.
And I know we said we're going to narrow it down to just one game, but I've got to talk about both. First of all, the one we probably all know about, Florida State versus Georgia Tech in Dublin. Florida State last week was ranked, or not ranked, but they were favored by 13 points.
Okay.
And it's dropped to 12
The
points.
line has moved.
The line has moved.
Interesting.
Noon kickoff, guys. We're going to be
In Ireland.
This is in Ireland, right? The game's in
Right.
Ireland, neutral site. They do this every year. For those who don't know, and so I got to say this. I think this game is going to be very interesting because I don't know. Tech just. I hate to say this. This feels blasphemous, but man,
Brent Key's done a good job.
he has.
Just say it. Yeah.
And Haynes
He's
King
a good guy.
He is.
and Haynes King is not as bad as people think. And one team, Florida State, got beat by 60 points the last time they played a football game.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
other
it was
team
a-
won their bowl game. So
Ah.
I just don't understand why Florida State is favored so heavily in this one. Tech returns, I think, like 8 guys offensively starters. They add another guy, a Franklin County guy, Keelan
Yeah.
Rutledge,
Yeah.
to the offensive line, and shout out to him.
Whoa.
But I about said DGD.
No, not quite. I can't say
Not
that.
quite. Sorry. But, I hate Tech. I do think this is going to be a very fun game to watch. Florida State versus Georgia Tech. So that's going to be my week 0 pick. And then as kind of an alternate, this is just for kicks and giggles here. Delaware State at Hawaii. Baby.
Oh yeah, since you love
Inject
the
that
Rainbow
into my
Warriors, you
veins.
love some Rainbow Warriors
Yes.
football. Then,
Yes.
so Hawaii doesn't get beat by Vanderbilt at the start of the week 0 this year.
Right.
Don't they? Like they had the
No,
past
no.
couple of years. Get
Exactly.
slaughtered by Vanderbilt. That's when you know that
Yeah.
your program's really in the cellar right there. When
Yeah.
you just get a straight tail whooping by the Vanderbilt Commodores
hey,
and Clark Lee.
But a midnight kick, man, it's like late night
man.
Pac-12
Yeah, yeah.
after dark.
Because there is no more Pac-12 after
Right.
dark.
So that's what I'm treating this game as.
All right.
So I kind of double dip there, but
Yeah.
mainly Florida State versus Georgia Tech week 0. So fun games to look out for there. Trey, let's move on to you. Let's just keep this thing rolling.
All right.
You got to
Week
kind of
1.
mention that midnight kickoff. That's not something you see very often.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is right.
I got a few games to choose from, but I narrowed it down to a couple. There's a few in there with some transfers over the offseason and stuff that we weren't seeing. I guess really not transfers, just kind of commit elsewhere from Georgia. But I really like that Colorado game, but I said that's not my pick. I said they do have Nebraska the following week, so that North
Yep.
Dakota State, they used to be a dynasty. Up
That's
there.
right,
So
man.
could that be an upset?
Yeah,
Possibly.
100%.
So they usually play those D1 teams pretty close. So,
Yeah.
But another one, I mean, of course, Clemson and Georgia, but I think
Yes, sir.
the Dogs are going to take care of business.
Absolutely.
Love it.
You would think that's the one I'm going to pick, but I'm actually going to go to Sunday, September 1st.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
USC, Lincoln Riley finally getting to come to the SEC
Nice.
at LSU. So,
Love it, man.
Ooh.
Love
so
it.
that's because he was trying to get out of that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think LSU's going to put it to him.
Nice.
Ooh, Trey coming strong out of the gates right there. I love
There you
that.
go right there.
That's
I love that,
That's
Trey.
not the. That's not Memorial Day. Memorial Day is
The Labor Day. Labor Day.
Day.
No,
Oh, gosh,
this
I
is
got
Sunday.
one.
It's a Sunday night game before.
the
Yeah.
Memorial Day is Boston College.
Yeah.
LSU.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's coming off of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Trip
That's
to Ireland.
a-
Yeah, that's right. Dang,
It's a
man.
good week of football. Trey,
That's very good picks.
let me ask you this: do you like Brian Kelly? Are you a Brian Kelly kind of guy?
No.
Yeah, who is? Who likes Brian Kelly?
I mean, he did all right at Notre Dame, but I think he's still got to prove himself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is he one of the elite coaches? Maybe not.
Yeah.
But he might be.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we'll see.
I don't know. I mean, I think to be elite, and y'all argue if I'm wrong here, you got to win a national
That's
championship.
right.
Yeah.
I agree.
And he hasn't done
agree.
it. So
Well,
I agree.
he's going to have to prove it at LSU, or he won't be there. He won't be there. He won't be there as long as he was at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
if
That's
he
right.
doesn't win one.
That's right, man. That's right. No,
is this game, Adam or Trey, either one of y'all, is it a neutral site?
I think it's in Arlington, isn't it? I want to say so. This schedule says at LSU, but I really think it's at Arlington.
And that
I think it is.
And that's my fault because I was the one that
Or maybe
timed
it
out
might not
on
be.
these games.
Actually, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. See if we can figure that out. Because, well, let me just go off of Trey's picks real quick while he's looking at that. Great. I love how he mentioned North Dakota State at Colorado because North Dakota State, the Bison. Is a very good program up there in the Fargo Dome, man. Is actually a program I think one day we'll be at the Division I level, Clark. But I think, man, we've heard the turmoil with Dion in Colorado this offseason and going into year 2 with it. I think that's going to be a lot of interest with a program that is well rounded and everything.
Vegas.
It's in Vegas. Okay, Vegas. There we go. So I'll be dang. So
Vegas Kickoff Classic.
all right,
Wow.
man. So kind of a home slate for USC there, kind of a little bit. But yeah, I mean, Lincoln Riley was trying to get out of that game, man. So I mean,
Scared.
that's going to be very interesting. So both programs starting new quarterbacks, with Jaden Daniels and the last 2 Heisman winners. Not there
Wow.
at those
Yeah.
programs anymore, so it's going to be interesting to see. I like that. Great pick.
Man, that is a
great
good
pick,
pick.
man. I almost forget about that one coming up, but that's good. That's going to be some fun Sunday night viewing.
I really thought you were going to pick Clemson, Georgia.
But I agree with what he said.
I mean,
it's not going to be a
good
game.
but it's Georgia, so it's going to be a good game. But
That's right.
I don't know if it will be a good game.
I'm hoping
We
it's
hope
going to be
not.
like that Oregon game a few years ago.
God, you and me both, brother. You and me
sir.
both. You and me both. I love it. I love it.
Look at Trey sporting the Rose 60 sticker,
Yes,
by the way.
on the Yeti, on the Yeti cup. I love that. That's great.
And then the Bulldog on the other side.
Got my
Yes,
favorite
sir.
dog on
The old
back.
standing
Yeah.
bulldog. I love it. I love it, man. Golly,
Very cool.
start the show out strong right there, Trey.
Nice.
I hear you. That's good. That's good.
All right, Adam, up to you.
All right, man.
Week 2.
Saturday, September 7th. All right. Okay. So there's one game here that is glaringly obvious of what I'm going to pick, and it will be what I pick. But before I mention that game, I want to just throw in a couple of them that I think will be intriguing. I think you got Tennessee at NC State. That's going to be a 7:30 kick on ABC. That's going to be in Charlotte in the Dukes Mayo Classic. NC State, I think they got a lot of promise this year with their program. Dave Doran's a consistent coach, and then we know the hype that Tennessee has. You get it? Hype with hyper with Nico coming in. I'm not even begin to pronounce his last name. Coming in as quarterback at Tennessee, so I think this is going to be their first 2, their biggest tests, of course, so far of the season. They don't really play anybody week 1, I believe. So I think that'll be an interesting barometer there for those teams to see what happens at that neutral site in Charlotte. So that'll be interesting. And Colorado, Nebraska, piggybacking off what Trey said with Colorado. Colorado and Nebraska is a great old school Big 12 90s rivalry, man. And year 2 of Matt Rule, year 2 of Deion Sanders. It'll be interesting to see where both of them programs are at, man. And Trey has on his notes here Dylan Raiola. That's a name that Bulldog fans are not too fond of hearing, but a stud 5-star quarterback. And Trey has on his notes here. So he's going to start. That's going to be interesting to see. And then Shadir Sanders, see where he's at this year. So that'll be a fun game as well. But the game of this week by far is going to be Texas at Michigan with a lot of question marks right there. Texas losing their starting running back to a knee injury during camp this year. And you hate that for anybody. You hate it for anybody, any team. It doesn't matter who it is. You don't want to see a young man lose his whole year like that in the preseason. But 2 blue bloods in Ann Arbor, Michigan losing a lot, Texas losing a lot. Sharon Moore taking over from Michigan, man. The players seem to like him. A lot of scandal still with Michigan in that program with everything. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to be – that's the first game, excuse me. He's going to be an honorary captain in the big house. But it'll be interesting to see where Michigan's at and where Texas is at when Texas goes to Ann Arbor at noon on Fox.
Man.
I think Texas will win that football game. I'm going to pick Texas and Quinn Ewers to go up there and win that game and build up some momentum going forward. But it'll be a good test to see where Michigan's at now, coming off of a national championship and losing Harbaugh.
Yeah, I like it.
And if Sark's made a big step, going into a hostile environment before he runs the SEC slate,
Yeah, Texas is a 3.5-point favorite as of now, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Especially playing in the big house.
At the big house.
Yeah.
So that's going to be.
That says something. It's going to be a very fun game to watch week 2.
I tell you what, that Tennessee at NC State 7:30, that could be an interesting game. I
Oh,
mean,
it will,
NC
man.
State, you don't mess around with them.
Well, I'd love to see NC State beat them. How great would that be?
Oh, yeah.
Just right on that would be wonderful.
That would be.
I'm telling you, don't sleep on them, man. Don't sleep on
Adam,
them.
another game on your list there. App State at Clemson, 8 o'clock.
App State is the giant killer.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Then Clemson, if they come off a big loss to Georgia, week 1, what happened? Clemson's going to win that football game right there. But it'll be fun to watch, man.
Trey, I got to know, while we're talking about Clemson for a second, what are your thoughts on Clemson? Are you kind of like, I give or take, or do you actually hate them like we do?
Oh, I hate Clemson.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I
good.
hate Clemson.
That's a Northeast Georgia dog, man. Of
Yeah,
course
yeah.
he hates Clemson. Of course he hates Clemson.
That was just a litmus test
That's right,
there.
that's right.
Need to make sure.
I hate Clemson.
God, I hate him too, man. I hate him
man.
too.
I don't wear orange.
Yes.
Dang right. That's
You
exactly
probably don't
right.
own orange, do
That's
you?
exactly right.
Well, I used to work for a paving company, so I do.
Had to have it.
But I had to have it, so that's a different story.
That's right.
Well, it's
That's
a
right.
neon
So-
orange.
Right,
Everybody
it's-
knows it's not
yeah,
Clemson
It's
orange.
not Clemson orange.
Yeah.
So.
Honestly, the neon orange is a little more pleasant to look at than Clemson orange, which is
That's right.
weird to say
That's
because
right.
neon kind of hurts to look at.
That's right. That's exactly right.
All right, week 3. This is going to be a fun week as well. I think a highly anticipated week. This one, I think maybe week 5. 2 really big weeks here. So Saturday, September 14th, we've got several games, but I'm going to narrow it down to 4, and then I'm just going to pick one off the
All
top
right,
of
give
my
it to
head.
me. Give it to me.
We got Alabama at Wisconsin, noon kickoff at Camp Randall.
Yeah, at Camp Randall. That's right, man.
Isn't that where they do jump around?
Yes.
Yeah. I
Yes.
mean,
That ought to be an
I'm telling you what, a lot of Scandinavian, the people up there in Wisconsin, that's going to be ready to absolutely rock and roll. Wait. Is it Scandinavian?
I don't know. The cheeseheads, all I know.
No,
Wisconsin
it's
people buy.
I can't remember if Scandinavian. It is Scandinavian. Scandinavian descent up there.
Okay.
And they get rowdy up there at Camp Randall, man.
I'm sure they do.
Year 2 of Luke Fickle. Let's go. Philip Long offense, right? Is it not Philip Long?
Those
What's his
Badger
name?
fans better be ready for Alabama to light some cigars in that stuff.
Oh, really? Trey?
yeah, that's right.
You don't think it's going to be close?
I don't know. I think that's going to be their first the litmus test of Kalen DeBoer. So we'll see.
Yeah, great point.
I think their defense is going to do a lot of toting this year. So
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
we'll see. We'll see though.
It kind of all hinges on Milroe. I mean, is he the guy who we think he could be? I mean, because here's the thing: he's not the true pocket passer kind of quarterback. Or even I don't even think you can really compare him to a Tua or a Bryce even or Mac Jones. I think he is so. I hate to say it, he's kind of dynamic, and he really grew into his own last year, late in the season. Obviously, beat us, but Jalen Milroe. I mean, if he's playing good, this really could be a very lopsided game.
I think it will be. Phil Longo is who I was looking for. I called him Long, Phil Long. But Phil Longo, the offensive coordinator, former North Carolina offensive coordinator, man, up at Wisconsin. See what he does in Luke Fickle, man.
Yep.
They might keep it respectable for the first quarter or so, but I'm like Trey, man, I think Milroe and DeBoer will eat up there. But it'll be a rocking environment. I can tell you that.
Well, that'll be fun to watch right at noon. I mean, you got College Game Day, and bam, you're right into that game. You're also into this game, LSU at South Carolina. 12 o'clock ABC. I don't know.
Yep.
Maybe this could potentially be an upset. I would imagine LSU is going to be favored by about a touchdown.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Give or take. There's a lot of hype in Columbia, South Carolina. I don't really know why, but
it is not warranted. It's
no, it's not
whatsoever.
exactly warranted. But maybe Shane Beamer can get that place rocking and going. And hey, I mean, I could definitely see an upset there potentially. Adam and Trey, Virginia Tech at Old Dominion, 6 o'clock ESPN. This is once again for kicks and giggles.
No, I know. They struggle up there. I think they got beat the last time they went to Old Dominion. Or they struggle with the Virginia Sunbelt teams. James Madison and Old Dominion beats them every time. Every time. It doesn't matter if it's in Blacksburg or across the state. Good. One thing that Virginia Tech, even when Frank Beamer was there in the later years of Beamer, was good at was losing to James Madison and Old Dominion, both of them.
I didn't even realize they were in the state of Virginia. Did you?
No.
I think they are. I'm pretty sure they are.
Virginia
actually.
Tech struggles away from home for some reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter who they're playing. So.
That's true.
Yep. So that's true.
And then last but not least, Georgia at Kentucky, 7:30 ABC.
Okay.
I'll be honest, this one, I don't exactly know why I highlighted it. I think, well, I do know why. Because typically when we go up there, or really anytime we play Kentucky the past, 7 years, it seems like we just struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, they play us tough, do they not?
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Always, man.
So I don't know. I mean, that could be a very entertaining game. I don't want it to be. I want it to be an absolute blowout.
I'll give you a little history. Being a Dogs fan is one of the first, I guess it'd been the first road game I ever went to was at Kentucky. So this has been back in the 90s.
Okay.
Tim Couch.
Hey, there you go.
So let's see, that would have been Mike Leach would have been the offensive coordinator.
Yes.
So little history there. So I mean,
That's awesome.
I think Kentucky muffed a snap on a field goal for a chance to beat Georgia.
Oh, man.
I remember that.
With Hal Mummy and Mike
Hal
Leach
Mummy
leading the
and-
way. There you
Hal
go,
Mummy
sir.
and
I
Mike
love it,
Leach.
baby. That's what I'm talking about. Pull it out.
I can't think of his name right now, but who was that Kentucky quarterback? He was the big guy.
Jared Lorenzen. Jared
That's right.
Lorenzen.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's always. I mean, shoot, it doesn't matter what era of Georgia football. Winning up there's tough, and this is the earliest we played them up there in years. You know, I mean, so their fans are going to be feeling it. They're excited, and then what we were talking about before the episode started, you got two former Dogs, and one's going to be the starting quarterback in Brock Vandegrift, and then Jamon Dumas Johnson on the defensive side, who are going to be extra motivated to play Georgia. You know, and that's going to be. That's going to be very interesting. Still early in the year, still trying to work out kinks, find people in the right spots to plug and play on both sides. So, yeah, night game in Lexington, that's tough. That's going to be one that will be that a lot of people aren't talking about. I still think, of course, Georgia will win that game, but probably not cover the spread, if we're being honest.
Yeah. There's also Notre Dame at Purdue. It's like 3:30 CBS. Are they going to get the bump game, Adam?
Yeah, that's the game right there. Notre Dame at Purdue. How exhilarating.
The old SEC theme.
That's it. That's it, Trey.
Rest in peace. But if I had to take it, I mean, I guess if I had to put my top one of those, what would y'all say? Alabama, Wisconsin, LSU, South Carolina, Virginia Tech, Old Dominion. That's kind of a joke. Or Georgia, Kentucky. Which one out of those would you say?
I mean, it's got to be Alabama, Wisconsin.
Alabama, Wisconsin. Just that first big Kalen DeBoer.
That's
test.
right. That first big test
On the road.
Yes,
at noon.
That's right. In Madison.
Name one SEC team that plays good at noon. Anywhere.
That's right.
That's a good point.
That's a good
Shoot,
point.
that is a
Trey.
good
That's
point.
a good point. That's a good point, especially on the road in a different time zone. Well, that'd be an 11 a.m. kick, right? It's Wisconsin Eastern time zone. I don't even know.
Maybe, I think.
It can't be. Or is it? Is it?
It'd be close.
I don't know about geography on that. Is it 11 a.m. local?
Gosh, we got to figure this out right now. Hold on.
I really have
Wisconsin
no clue. This is really
time
showing my
zone.
ignorance.
Central? Yes.
Central,
Okay,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
right.
so yeah, Alabama, yeah. So.
Good job. Oh, man. All right.
Well,
yeah.
Alabama will be kicking off their actual local time, though, because they're actually
That is a
11
good
a.m.
point.
Central
Yeah.
time.
Oh, man. All right. Moving on to week 4,
Well, yes,
Saturday,
yes.
September 21st. This is Georgia's bye week, by the way. Trey, you're up, man.
Oh, there's a bunch of good games here too. There's maybe some that fly under the radar a little bit. I got Tennessee and Oklahoma. I got them highlighted. Now it's both of their openers in the SEC, so it's Oklahoma's first SEC game. Period. So it is at home for Oklahoma. Another one I have highlighted is USC at Michigan. So they're going to go on the road to the Big House. They could be showing up with a loss after that LSU game. You never know.
Yeah.
Michigan could have a loss because they do play Texas before they play USC. So,
Somebody's season could end in that game.
right, it could have some playoff implications, and it may not with 12 teams this year.
That's
so
true.
we'll see on that.
That's
But
true.
I'm going to have to go Tennessee, Oklahoma. I think it's going to be a measuring stick for both teams. Heupel
Yes, sir.
and what's his
Venables. Oh, Venables.
Yes.
Brent Venables up.
Brent
Yeah.
Venables and
Very forgettable name, though.
Very forgettable.
Honestly.
Yeah, very forgettable.
he only won a couple national championships at Clemson.
Yeah.
So, but not as a head coach.
Yeah,
Not
that's
as a head
right.
coach.
That's right. That's right.
So I think there'll be a little shell shock, but being at Oklahoma, I think. I don't know, but that's going to be my game to watch.
Okay.
I'd probably. I mean, I figure Oklahoma might have the spread about 3.5. Probably. I'd take Oklahoma.
Yep.
All right.
I love that
That's
pick,
a
Trey.
good game.
And also with that, like you were talking about with Venables and Heupel, those are two programs right now who desperately, both programs need that win.
Big
Oklahoma wants it and Tennessee wants it, obviously. I mean, everybody wants to win, of course. But for those two programs, the hype is very just kind of on edge. I'd say that, both of them are looking to take that next step, right? And also in the storyline of that, you got Heupel, Oklahoma's favorite son, coming back to Norman, who was their last national championship quarterback, was Josh Heupel. But he left. Bob Stoops basically pushed him out the door when he was OC there, and then he went to Missouri as an OC. And there's some bad blood now with Oklahoma that Heupel has kind of a little bit. But I think they're honoring him. This will be his first time back to Norman since him and Bob Stoops kind of had that bad relationship that pushed him out. So extra motivation for Heupel right there. So, yeah, I think the SEC knew what they were doing when they made this the first SEC game in Norman, Oklahoma.
Well, I'll tell you what, too. There's not going to be any defense played in this game. It's over.
I don't know, Venables, man. He's making Oklahoma a different team now. Oklahoma's do not sleep on Oklahoma's defense.
They do have some.
You said that with some fire there. You really believe that?
That's the rumor everybody's been talking
right.
about.
That's
So
right.
We'll see. One other game on that week too: Arkansas and Auburn. So, and I have it circled for a different reason because I think you got with Sam Pittman there as the head coach, but you also got the return of
Freeze.
Brother Hugh.
Brother Hugh, Reverend Hugh Freeze.
offense coordinator. He was.
Bobby Petrino coming in. Yeah, great point, Trey.
I think. I mean, and you got Auburn, who's going to be. I don't know what to think about
Great.
Auburn yet.
Yeah.
But I think Pittman's going to be. They're going to be putting him on the hot seat pretty early.
You're right,
this year,
man.
And you got Petrino nipping at his heels.
You're right.
And I didn't like the hire just for that, but we'll see.
Great point, Trey. I mean, you can't trust Bobby Petrino for a great man like Sam Pittman to come in there and look out for his best interest, right? So you think there's an underlying motive that Petrino has trying to retrieve glory, and I hope he stays off of motorcycles. Let's go around in Fayetteville, for the betterment of everybody. And I'm sure there's a lot of husbands out there that are keeping their wives outside of the Arkansas building. I mean, let's just say it. Let's call it like it is. More than a few. Just they don't want to see any blonde-headed women riding on the back of motorcycles in Fayetteville anymore. With Bobby Petrino now back in the building. I mean, let's just call it like. But no, in all seriousness, Trey, that's a great pick because that is a game I feel like Sam Pittman it could be winnable and needs to win to keep his job. And you're exactly right by that. Going to Auburn early in the year because the schedule has just gotten tougher for every single SEC team now with Texas and Oklahoma. And he needs to get everyone that he can get, and that's a big one. I agree. And then this early in the season, if he loses to Auburn and Hugh Freeze in his second year there, it'll be tough for him to come back from that. I agree. Great pick.
Like
Great
it.
story.
A couple of others, too. I mean, not to steal your thunder here.
You're
but,
good.
Man, like Utah at Oklahoma State, I feel like those two could potentially be fringe playoff teams, maybe.
Yeah,
What?
The Big 12 is going to be fun this year.
Oh, yeah,
Don't
well.
sleep on the great Big 12 matchups like that right there.
I'm not being sarcastic.
Do not sleep on the great Big 12 matchups. I wouldn't say that you were. I was just getting excited about Big 12 football. I mean, you get Utah at Oklahoma State, man.
Yeah, that's fun football.
Yeah. I mean, you get Arizona and like Colorado now, and it's in the Big 12. I mean, you did have them in the Pac-12,
Yeah.
So, I mean, Kansas and who else is in
Kansas
there now?
State's a
yeah.
threat.
So, I mean, that's right. So
I mean, they weren't
it'll
in
be
there.
interesting to see when you don't have, and whoever. But I think people don't realize is whoever wins that conference in the Big 12 will get a bye in the playoff and be a
automatic
top
bid.
seed, automatic bid.
Yeah.
So I mean, it'll be fun to watch.
And
Good
that's
storyline.
I'm with Josh Pate. Shout out Josh Pate, great podcast. But Yeah. I'm with him in this, like this whole automatic bid system. The playoff in general, I think, is ruining the sport.
Yes.
Although it is more entertaining, and it is for the almighty dollar, we understand that. It is destroying the game of college football, I think. But those automatic bids, though, that's ridiculous. Especially because think about it. What if you have an 11-1 SEC runner-up, right? Let's say we go play in hold up, sorry, a 12-1 Texas team, right?
Yeah.
Georgia's undefeated. We get the automatic bid. But then you get, I don't know, a 9-4 not Pac-12, my gosh, Big 12 champions.
Oklahoma State, 9-4.
And they
Right
just
there.
automatically jump
Yeah.
Texas, who's
Yeah.
12-1?
Yeah.
How does that make sense?
I mean, how that makes sense. That's right. I agree.
Sorry, that took a little bit
Well,
longer
it's going to be fun.
process
It's going to be
on
fun. This first year is going to be fun because you truly do not know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You do not know what's going to happen.
There's going to be a lot of chaos at the end of the year with that, with the whole seeding, because it's not. People don't understand it's not just the top 12 teams, because with automatic bids and stuff like that, and then some of the Big Five, the non-Big Five teams are getting in.
Mm-hmm.
So you might have a team ranked in the 25th slot.
Yeah.
That's right, man.
Just because of how all the rules and stuff are. So it's going to be interesting, to say the least.
You're going to have a team like Liberty, a Power 5 team getting in there. And I think that's good because I like it from this standpoint of that gives those fan bases that are in the Group of 5 conference hope. You know, like, hey, at least we might get beat in the first round, but we get to go to, let's throw out an example. We get to go to Ohio State, man, and watch in the middle of December and watch as a Liberty alumni or something. Go watch the Liberty Flames play the Ohio State Buckeyes in a playoff game.
Yeah.
Or go to Eugene, Oregon, and watch them play Dan Lannon's Ducks in a playoff football. I mean, that's good. I think I like that aspect of it. And another game here, USC at Michigan, a Big Ten game now. Against two blue bloods. That'll be wild.
Talking about Liberty having some hope, it's kind of like TCU having some hope.
That's right. Saw what happened.
That's the equivalent for sure.
So they went through a buzzsaw.
Yeah. Oh, man. Good stuff there, Trey. All right, Adam, week 5, what you got?
Week 5.
And there, let me just preface
Wait a minute.
this.
I'm in November 8th. This isn't right. Week
Let
5.
me
Okay,
preface your pick, Adam.
Okay.
This is an insane week of football.
Yes.
This is a very insane week of football. Let's just go down the list, man.
Okay.
I mean, again, you have to start off that Friday night, Virginia Tech and Miami. Great old Big East rivalry. See where Mario Cristobal's at in Miami there, and Virginia Tech, see where they're at as a program. We talked about them earlier. So, I mean, that's going to start it off. But then Arkansas and A&M playing in Dallas, another neutral site game every year there. Arkansas always seems to lose it at the end against Dallas and A&M. Mike Elko's first year, another game, Trey, like we talked about when you highlighted Arkansas last week. They sure can't lose to Auburn on the Plains and then come to Dallas and get beat by A&M. I think if that would happen in this rivalry game, Pittman might not make it through. That might be.
Do you think he'd get tarmacked?
I think he'd get tarmacked. I 100% think that if Pittman starts off on like a 0-3, 0-2 SEC skid, they go ahead and fire him and let Petrino take the reins for the rest of the year.
Unfortunately, I like Sam Pittman, but I think you're dead on right there.
So, but Oklahoma at Auburn here is a good one too. Brent Venables' defense versus Hugh Freeze's offense on the Plains, man. Oklahoma going on the road in the SEC for the first time. That's a very intriguing game. And then let's see. Let's go on down the list here. And then I think the elephant in the room is Georgia at Alabama.
Yeah.
7:30 ABC. I mean, for us in this podcast
is that a pun intended?
That's it. That's right. That was good.
Wait, did you mean to say that?
He called it.
I don't think you meant to say that.
I didn't mean to say that. That was good, wasn't it? That was good.
I'm calling you out.
I love it. But I mean, for us as Georgia fans, man, I mean, obviously, even though we exercised some demons in Indianapolis a few years ago, last year the SEC championship would get beat. Saban's gone. Saban's gone. The boogeyman's gone, right? The boogeyman is gone. Kalen DeBoer era starts. It's in Tuscaloosa. It's at night. Georgia fans want to win that game bad. I do not want to see Georgia lose to Alabama early in the year. Yes, you can recover from it, from still reaching all your goals, obviously. But I think for momentum and where this program is, you do not need to lose to Kalen DeBoer in year one. Kirby, who has built this program so many years now and where it is a powerhouse, even though Alabama's going to have equal talent. I think will be a notch below Georgia, but still equal talent. And DeBoer's a dang good coach. I do not think we need to go in Tuscaloosa and lose that football game. I think it's huge to set up kind of the tone for the rest of this Georgia, set the tone for the rest of this Georgia year. You need to go in Tuscaloosa and win that game, and I think it's a big game to win from the standpoint of kind of starting the post-Saban era at Alabama with Georgia's, just asserting their will against them in Tuscaloosa. I think it's big. I think it's a big game.
Trey, what do you think about that game? Because I know Adam Saltz, he knows mine about it. What do you think? Like sitting here right now, August 11th.
I agree with a lot of what Adam said right there because you don't want to lose that game because if you lose that game, there's a good chance if you run the table, you're going to see them again in the SEC championship game because they still have to play Texas. I think They play Texas a little bit later.
They play Oklahoma this year.
They play
still big game. Yep.
That's right. They don't play.
Yep, they play
but
Oklahoma this year.
I think
Big game.
it could really put Georgia behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
I mean, DeBoer's going to have that offense firing because that's his thing. So
Yep.
we'll, like he said, the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
That's
It's
a lot of question marks. We just
Right.
don't know yet. You know, we talk about till we're blue in the face, but we have no idea how Jalen Milroe is going to look in this Kalen DeBoer offense. I mean, at times he just looked very lethargic and struggled last year.
Right.
And now having to learn a whole new scheme and offense, I think it's all going to be decided on where Milroe is in his play underneath Kalen DeBoer. Is Kalen DeBoer going to elevate him into kind of what Penix was last year? And then Penix had 2 talented wideouts. I mean, there's talent in the Alabama wide receiver room, but it's sure not Devontae Smith or Henry Ruggs or anybody walking through the door. For sure. But where will Jalen Milroe be? I think that's going to be the big question mark in Tuscaloosa. And I'll be honest with you, if he takes that next step and DeBoer does what he's capable of doing and what Milroe is capable, as much as I hate to say it, as Milroe's capable of getting to, and this is early in the year, I'd rather play him now than later. Then it could be very dangerous. I mean, this team's still very dangerous, but I love the team that will be taking in Tuscaloosa, especially at this point on the schedule. Georgia wins it, and Georgia needs to win it.
What's interesting too is I know obviously Georgia has the bye week before this game, but I want to say Alabama does too, and
They do.
you know that does factor into it, guys.
They do.
I mean,
They do.
You know, a good bye week, and normally don't get them this early in the season. You know,
Yeah.
So
that kind of worries me with Kentucky too. You're just not used to them in that spot in the
Yeah.
season. It's
That's
kind of
right.
like having Auburn early. Was it last year?
yeah.
We used to have them late. Kentucky's
yeah.
always late, so
That's right.
you just don't ever know how the fan base is
No,
going
you
to
don't.
handle that either.
Exactly,
You
yeah.
don't. You don't. But great week of football overall.
Man,
I mean,
yeah, that will be
Wisconsin
fun.
at USC, another Big Ten game right there.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something. This one will literally have playoff implications for Liberty. Liberty at App State. Adam.
I'm
The
App
Rock.
State Mountain Deer. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, If you go up to the Rock right there, baby, I mean, it's a wrong.
But I'm serious. Like Liberty, if you really want to secure your
Top
spot,
25 venue in college football.
yeah. If you're Liberty, I mean, they have a very winnable schedule. I don't even think they play a group of 4 team this year, or the Power 4, whatever we're calling it nowadays. I don't even think they got one. But App State, man, you don't want to play them.
No, you don't.
And so
you don't, especially you don't want to go up there.
My point is, if Liberty loses this, it's going to make it infinitely
fun.
tougher for them to make the playoff. If they win their schedule, once again, it's very winnable. They could very easily go 12-0. I think
The group
Then
of
they're
5
in.
at large bid, I think, is going to need to be undefeated.
Right.
I mean, obviously
That's
there will
my-
be
that's
one,
my
but I
point.
think there will be a group of 5 team out of all those teams that will be undefeated. That will be the one that goes in. I think. I don't think you're going to have a 1-loss group. I mean, I could be very wrong on that, but I think that's how it's going to be.
Hey, another
They usually slip up somewhere along the way.
That's right.
Somebody does.
for sure. Another game, right quick. I know this is just one of the best weeks of
it's
football.
a huge week.
Yeah,
I mean.
Florida State at SMU, Adam.
Oh yeah, the Mustangs, baby. I'm
Adam-
a big Mustang guy.
Yeah.
I love the SMU Mustangs. I love how that they got the death penalty for Willing and Dillon just trying to win, and they did in the 80s. They did.
What would be legal now?
But would be legal now. Exactly
Good
right. I mean,
point.
they were just pioneers, man. So, I mean, everybody loved giving out Trans Ams in the early 80s. I mean, Georgia did. Everybody did, you know? I mean, so, I mean, I love it because I'm a big Trans Am guy, too. So, no, I like SMU. And the ACC, that is so weird now, too, that, you know, I think a lot of people are looking over the fact that the ACC now has no powerhouses came to the ACC by any means, but you got Stanford, California, and SMU. Like, who in the world decided, let's just go get Stanford, California, and SMU? And bring them in the ACC. But
Yeah, two of those
I mean,
programs are literally on the opposite of the Atlantic coast.
I mean, it's such a weird venue for Florida State going into Dallas to SMU, and I don't know. That'll be. I mean, heck, Rhett Lashley is the head coach, a former Auburn offensive coordinator, former Miami offensive coordinator. He put up some points last year, Clark. Put up some points last year for SMU. I think they're in the American Conference.
Yeah.
And don't sleep on them, man. Don't sleep on them.
Week 5, watch out, folks. September
SMU Mustangs,
28th.
baby.
Y'all better get ready.
Yep.
All right, moving on to week 6. Hey, you got a fun Friday night matchup, October 4th, Michigan State at Oregon. I'm just kidding. That's going to be an absolute
Michigan State,
bloodbath.
there you go. This is-
But you get to watch live college football on Friday, next Friday. So I'm
right.
never going to complain about that. But Saturday, October 5th, there's some pretty decent games here. We got Ole Miss at South Carolina. I know this is my second time talking about South Carolina playing in Williams-Brice. Trey, have you ever been to Williams-Brice?
I have not. I really want to go. I had one opportunity and I didn't take it, and I kicked myself for it.
Well, you're not missing anything.
What was your opportunity? I got to ask you. Do you remember the year? Or anything?
I don't.
Okay. Well, it is a wild environment, and Ole Miss. I think there's I want to say somebody who's the kid that transferred to Ole Miss. Is it Juice Wells? No, not Juice Wells. No, Juice Wells played for Ole Miss, right, and then transferred to Carolina. No.
Juice Wells played it. He played at Carolina.
Yeah.
Did he transfer to Ole Miss? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he transferred to Ole Miss.
Oh,
He's been chirping.
Oh, has he?
On social media. So
I
this
can believe it there.
Another
Okay,
little added element to
That's
this.
coming full circle. There you go.
Man, who do you pick between Shane Beamer and Lane Kiffin? I just want to pose the
Kiffin.
question.
I'd love to listen to them debate
Yeah, about what?
because they're both just bluntly honest.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are.
So
I go back to Beamer getting beat by Georgia, and he's just like, they're better than us.
Yeah.
What do you want me to
That is
say?
true.
Right.
Yeah, say that. That's right.
They got like
That's right.
45 stars
With
on
his
their-
eyeballs about to pop out of his head. We're talking.
Beamer is one of those guys I do kind of like, just his personality.
Okay.
I mean, he did spend some time under Kirby, so
That's true. That's true.
I mean, and you know who his dad is. I mean, he's got some football knowledge.
Yeah.
Beamer, he just couldn't take the gauntlet of Athens, what Kirby's schedule demanded of him.
That's
Had to get out. That's
exactly
what it
right.
was.
He's just overly dramatic to me.
Very
in
much
some,
so.
in some,
But
sometimes.
it'll be interesting, man. I think this is a big year for Beamer. If he goes if he just gets beaten all these games we're talking about and goes 4-8, I think he's out the door.
This year?
Yes.
Yeah.
4-8.
Who are they going to get though?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's the age-old question.
Yeah.
Tracy, you're exactly right, man.
And if you just keep coaching turnovers, you can ask Tennessee and some of these programs, man. You get lost in the wilderness for a long time, changing coaches every 3 years. Your program just gets buried deeper and deeper.
And it's much harder to make a comeback. I mean, look at Tennessee. They're finally getting their wheels back on their program, or even Florida. Look at Florida. And they're still in this run.
I mean, they have like 5 coaches in a decade, and put that in perspective, Georgia's had 5 since 1964.
Jeez.
I think Florida's still paying 5 coaches.
Yeah. Yep.
That's right.
Oh, man.
Love it. Love it.
But yeah, Ole Miss, South Carolina might be a good one. And shoot, that's a game Ole Miss. You just can't afford to go lose a game like that with the schedule you've got at Ole Miss. I mean, they've got several tough games, including Georgia at home. But Ole Miss is one of these teams that could very, very easily get into the playoff, and they've got to have these kinds of games. So that's going to be an interesting matchup.
Not to jump ahead, but Ole Miss has LSU the week after.
Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah. Big rivalry game there. They're expecting to go 11-1, 10-2 there. I think anything underneath 10-2 in Oxford this year is a disappointment.
But my point is, man, these are the kind of trap games that will get
Exactly.
you.
And looking for
And they'll put you behind the
2
eight ball.
weeks in a row on the road right there, and LSU looming.
Yeah. A couple more games here in week 6. That wasn't necessarily my number one pick there. Iowa at Ohio State. You never know. That could get interesting.
That's always an interesting game.
I mean, hasn't Iowa totally revamped their offense? Something like that?
They needed to.
Yeah.
Because they
were awful.
well, didn't they get rid of their offense coordinator because they couldn't score so many points?
Yeah.
And it was the head coach's son. That's right. That's what I was getting at. So
you're exactly right.
they had to do something.
Right. Well, we know they can play some defense, but hey, if their offense has a pulse,
I've always wondered why like Phil Parker, get out of Des Moines, Iowa. Go somewhere else and shine. Let your light shine somewhere else.
The fact that you know these college towns,
I don't know if that one's right, actually.
I think you're right.
Ames is Iowa State. I do know that.
Yes.
No, Des Moines.
Des Moines is Iowa. That is
almost
right.
positive,
Yeah.
I think the game for me, but there's 3 more really good ones. I'm going to go with Missouri at A&M. Missouri's one of those teams that could potentially get in the playoff. A&M is under Mike Elko. I mean, that could be a fun game to watch. Very entertaining, I think.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting to see A&M. That's another storyline, Clark. I'm sorry, just real quick, and I'm going to be quiet and let y'all proceed. But Jimbo Fisher's toxic. And whatever he grabs his hands around, it's like automatically when they get out of the grasp of Jimbo Fisher, they skyrocket. Haynes King's a good example. I think Haynes King last year at Georgia Tech showed why he was a 5-star quarterback as he gets away from Jimbo Fisher. And I think it'll be interesting to see the talent that is in College Station. And Mike Elko, I think, is just a good blue-collar, just get in your face old school coach who is relying on gimmicks, but just smash mouth football. And I think it'll be very interesting to see.
Yeah.
Very interesting to see. And he's got Colin Klein as offense coordinator, former Kansas State quarterback, former Kansas State offense coordinator.
I thought you said Calvin Klein.
So it's going to be interesting to see where A&M is this year.
Yep.
I'm very interested to see year one under Elko with talent in the building and unlimited resources, what he does. So, that's a heck of a game. In Missouri, a lot of hope this year.
Yep. I got 3 more games. I'm going to fly through these right quick. Clemson at Florida State. Going to be always a fun,
Always a good game.
big game. Yep. And then you got your national championship rematch, which is going to be my number 1 game of this week, week 6. Michigan at Washington.
Nah.
Come on now. That's going to be fun.
Come on.
That will be so much fun to watch. And then last but not least, I love doing this. Hawaii at San Diego State. Guys, 8 o'clock CBS Sports Network. You're not going to get Gary Danielson and Brad Nessler on this call. But, hey, NU Snapdragon Stadium, this is a rivalry game for them.
Well, it's a tribal matter.
True. Yes.
The Aztecs and the Rainbow Warriors. I mean, it is a tribal matter.
Really.
And do you know who is leading the Aztecs of San Diego State? You know, Brady Hoke, former Michigan coach, had a good run over there at San Diego. But you know who, God bless his heart, he got away from just the toxic environment of Deion Sanders in Boulder, Colorado. But the head coach of San Diego State now is the guy who was the head coach at Kent State when he came in. God, I've drawn a blank of what his name is. What was his name?
It's okay not to know that.
Sean Lewis. Sean Lewis is his name. Sean Lewis is now the head coach of San Diego State, I'm fairly certain. And, heck, man, he's a great offensive mind. So
I was kind of kidding about that one.
I just thought I knew coaches' names.
I'm saying.
Yeah, me too,
It
me
is
too,
Sean
Trey.
Lewis. Yeah, Sean Lewis at San Diego State University.
Adam
Great
puts me to
offensive
shame.
mind.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
offensive mind. Shouldn't have got fired by Colorado. That was just poor form on Deion's part of running him off. So see what he does with the Aztecs. So.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Trey,
Timmy
what
Jones.
do you think about Michigan and at Washington here?
You're going to have 2 new coaches. So
That's right.
2 new philosophies. So, but it is going to be in Washington.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what Michigan does this year.
Yeah.
Now I know
Sharon Moore.
Sharon Moore. Is it Sharon Moore?
Sharon, something like that, yeah.
I'm interested to see how he does with
I am
him
too,
running
man.
the show. And like you said,
Players coach.
there's some looming stuff
Yep.
from Harbaugh
That's
still
right.
left over from last year.
That's
So
right.
we'll see how that goes, but it could be bad.
Yeah.
But now it's his show.
That's
There's
right.
no Harbaugh. There's no he's coming back in 4 games after
That's
being
right.
suspended.
Good point.
It's his show. He's recruiting. He's coaching. It's his assistant coach.
Yeah.
I don't know
You're right.
what Harbaugh took with him, if anybody, but it. And then of course, a lot of people left Washington after DeBoer left too. So
yeah, man.
Well, and think about the talent that left both of those programs,
yeah.
Michigan
Yeah.
especially. I mean, my gosh, you're cleaning house in terms of players.
I don't know who Michigan's DC is because I know the defensive coordinator Michigan had last year. What was his name? Jesse Minter. Jesse Minter went to the Chargers with Harbaugh, and I want to say now that I think it's Jesse Minter. Yeah, it was. But anyway, Jed Fish is at Washington. Jed Fish is a guy who kind of resurrected his career at Arizona, bringing them out of the dead post Kevin Sumlin era down there in Tucson. And I think is a great offensive mind, and I think was a great hire by Washington to because I think they passed up on old Grubb, DeBoer's offensive coordinator, who landed an NFL gig, who thankfully didn't come to Tuscaloosa. Ryan Grubb with DeBoer. So Jed Fish leading Washington will be interested to see.
Yep. All right, week 7.
And both of those teams could have some losses going into that game.
Very true.
Potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't ever know.
Yeah.
And Jed Fish is just a great name.
Yeah.
So,
Jed. Hey, that might be that might be in the consideration for what I'm going to name my baby boy.
Jed.
Jed.
I love it.
I like it.
You should.
Jed
like it.
Gaines.
Jed Gaines. There you go.
I don't hate it.
No, it's great.
All right, week 7. Trey, October 12th. What you got, man?
There's a couple interesting games on this one. We're going to come back to my pick. but
Okay.
You
Yes,
got
sir.
Mississippi State at Georgia. That's going to be, I think Georgia's going to take care of business. I mean,
Yep.
Georgia. You got Lane going to LSU.
Yep.
So I don't know. That potentially would have potential for a night game. So if that's in Death Valley at night, I'm
Yeah.
going to take LSU.
For sure.
Yeah.
Florida and Tennessee. I have this one kind of circled for a different reason. Is that Napier's last game if they lose that?
Oh.
Because
Yeah.
now they coming in, they may be 1-4 coming into that game. I'm
Yeah.
just looking at, and their non-conference is not good, but yeah, they could be 1-4 coming in that game, 1-5 going out, and
Great point.
Yeah. Look
think
at Trey.
that's a tarmac. That's a tarmac.
You
too.
damn right.
So, I mean, there's some good games. You got Penn State at Southern Cal. You know that Big Ten California
Yes, sir.
game. I mean, South Carolina, Alabama. Depends
Yeah.
on what South Carolina does, and Alabama. For
That's
that matter.
right.
And of course, you got the old Red River rivalry, Texas, Oklahoma.
That's a
But my game is Ohio State at Oregon.
Yes, sir.
Golly.
Man, that's the best week of football
At
right there.
Oregon, and here's my thing is the old Big Ten. You had Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State back when they were pretty good.
That's right.
Wisconsin, 3-4 big games a year.
Yep.
Now you got Oregon,
Yes, sir.
Washington. You got a whole different ball game, and now you're going out somewhere else. So
Yep.
they both could easily be 5-0 going into that game.
Great.
Pick them.
Great call.
Yeah, it is amazing
Great
what
call.
this conference. I mean, once again, I don't agree with it, but man, it does make these regular season games way more entertaining when you've shifted and you've added these teams into the Big Ten. You've added these teams into the SEC, Texas, Oklahoma. So,
If you want to watch that on the East Coast, that's going to be 10 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah, boy. Which one?
The
Ohio State, Oregon.
Because that'll be 7 o'clock out there.
Auction at night, man, with
they'll-
Dan Land. Oh, man,
That'll
that
be at night.
game.
That game will be at night out there.
That
too.
game gets me jacked right now. That's a
And-
football
and
nerd.
It's showing a 1-point spread for
Yes, sir.
Oregon. So
wow. Here's the thing, y'all. That could very easily be your Big Ten championship game
Absolutely.
with
Yeah.
no divisions. Now.
Yeah, well, they could rematch against each other
Yeah,
too.
that's what I'm
You know,
saying,
yeah. So the winner of that game, it's going to be hard to beat the other team twice, even though Oregon's notorious to getting beat by Washington 2 times in a row.
Yeah.
And
I don't-
Dan Lannon has.
I don't think that happens this year, but I think your Big Ten's going to be, if Michigan doesn't fall off, Ohio State and Oregon, Michigan. Those three is going to be, one of them is going to be your champion, and you potentially could see all three of them in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree, man. That to me, this is the best week we covered so far. I think real quick, Mississippi State at Georgia. Yeah, Jeff Lebby. Can't wait to see what he does at Mississippi State. Will be interesting, but should be a good win for Georgia right there, and then we'll get to enjoy the rest. What you said about Florida and Tennessee, Trey, is very, very good point. That if Florida is 1-4 coming in and they get beat by Tennessee, a program that Florida is used to destroying, dominating, winning.
Even in
this
Neyland.
would be this would mean that Billy Napier would now be 1-2 versus Tennessee. They can't have that. They can't have that. And then open 3 against Georgia later on too. So I think that is a great point. Napier could be going. And then on the flip side, Tennessee, especially if Florida's 1-4 coming into that, if they get beat by Florida in Neyland again, by a team that they know they're a whole lot better down than paper, but they just can't get over those Florida demons like Georgia used to have when they had the better team always. And that would be very interesting to see what they think about Nico and Heupel and everything
Yeah.
if they get beat by a 1-4 Florida team at Rocky Top. So that's a heck of a storyline there. And then, golly, Ohio State, Oregon, like you said. Texas, Oklahoma, the week before Georgia comes to town. But great week of football.
The only thing
You
about
can't go wrong.
Texas, Oklahoma, the only thing different this year is this SEC.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right.
That's going to be weird to see.
Great venue at the State Fair, man. And Penn State and USC historic matchup.
I think Texas, Oklahoma for that game, they ought to have Gary Danielson call that
Yes.
game so they can get what we had. For
That's
30
right. That's
years.
right. They need to. Yes, that's right.
I
That's
agree.
right.
Welcome
that's a
to
great
the
point.
conference.
That's a great point, Trey. they got to
man.
pay their dues. They got
Yeah,
to pay
exactly
their dues
right.
too. Love it, man.
Adam, right quick, going back to Florida. You said Billy Napier was 1-2. Is he not 2-1? Because he didn't Florida beat Tennessee at home last year?
I would say he would be 1-2.
Oh,
If he loses this game,
I got you,
if he
I got you,
loses this game, it would mean he is 1-2 because they got beat 2 years ago in Neyland. Correct?
I think they won that.
No, with Anthony Richardson, they got beat.
no,
in
they
Neyland.
did. Yeah, it was
But
late.
then,
Yeah,
then everybody didn't give Florida a chance last year in Gainesville, and Josh Heupel crapped the
That's
bid.
right, that's
so,
right.
Yeah.
That game
Billy
2
won.
years ago in Neyland was crazy. Florida
That's what.
should
Yeah,
have
that was the
won
back
it.
and forth. Yeah.
Man. Yes.
So
Crazy
we'll see.
stuff happens in
Yep.
Neyland Stadium.
Yep.
All right, Adam. Oh, goodness. Week 8.
All right, man.
Saturday, October 19th.
Golly,
But
that's
you may want
that's
to
a
talk
hard
about
week to
Friday.
follow. That's a hard week to
I
follow,
know.
Trey. That was a star-studded lineup right there. I'm already fired up about this.
Appreciate the softball there, Clark.
Yeah, you're welcome.
There you go. Week 8, man. I don't really have anything. Florida State at Duke. I mean, Manny Diaz. What's he going to do? At Duke up in Durham, taking over from Mike Elko. I mean, just be fun football to watch on a Friday night. Nothing just great. Oregon at Purdue, whatever.
Whoa, now. Oregon at Purdue. Hey, don't sleep on the Boilermakers.
Clark, you have mentioned the Boilermakers like too. What?
Well,
gives you
Adam-
any? Like, why do you want to talk about the Boilermakers?
When
Drew?
you
Brees
play-
is not their quarterback.
Hey,
That's
it
it.
doesn't matter. Listen, Purdue will put it on a team. I mean, think about that game against Ohio State a few years back. Where is Purdue located?
Yeah, I mean, Purdue is in West Lafayette, Indiana, right?
Well, they get West Lafayette, Indiana rocking. In mid-October. Don't sleep on the Boilermakers.
Are you just a big Nyland Green fan? The
Maybe
cornerback
so.
who transferred
Yeah,
to
maybe
Purdue for some tape? I mean,
maybe I am.
I mean, but
Don't hate.
When what's his name, Jeff Brom was up there, then I mean they were putting together an offensive performance. But I just Purdue, I don't know, man. But anyway, I'm glad the Boilermakers got their spot there. So
And on row 60.
there we go. All right. We get off the rails. Trey, we get off the rails pretty easy if you can't tell. So
your best game's on page 2 right there.
yeah, 100%, man. Both of them back to back, man.
Yes.
Really, before I get to those, let's just go through Notre Dame at Georgia Tech. We'll see where both those teams are at that point in time. I think Notre Dame will take care of business in Atlanta. But the 2 games to look out for on this week are going to be Alabama at Tennessee in Neyland. The last time that Alabama came to Neyland, a very historic game there, man. The goalposts went into the Tennessee River. So, hey, can they do it again? Can Heupel beat Alabama for the second time in 3 years? I don't know. We're about to find out. So that'll be interesting leading up to Georgia at Texas. I said leading up. I really don't even think I know. I just think it's going to be a night game in Austin. That's the big game Georgia fans are talking about right now. Alabama and Texas and Ole Miss. When you talk about Georgia's season, you narrow it down really kind of on paper as fans. Outside of the building, not in the arena, right, guys? So we can talk about it. We can speculate already. I know every Kirby and the staff's taking it 1 week at a time. They're going to focus on Clemson. Then they're going to focus on Tennessee Tech. But Georgia at Texas, man, this game worries me. Even though Texas has lost a lot on the defensive line and skill guys, still got a veteran quarterback, Quinn Ewers, and we mentioned earlier that their starting running back has tore their ACL. But Austin will be rocking that night, especially if Texas comes off beating Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry, and as both teams are undefeated. In Austin, it's going to be a heck of a venue, man. It's going to be tough to win that game. But if Georgia, I don't see any team, whether it be in Alabama or Texas, if Georgia slips up on the road to either one of those opponents, I could see that happening to either one or even Ole Miss. But say Georgia runs the table the rest of the way, gets in the SEC championship, neither of those 3 teams will beat Georgia a second time. I don't think Kirby Smart's going to lose 2 times in a row. So, but that's going to be a heck of a game, man, and one that I'm nervous about, and I'm not ready to sit here and say Georgia's going to win that football game. Yeah, like I have been on this pod. Just kind of a sneak preview of what to think about when we do go through our Georgia schedule predictions. I'm not 100% confident in that game, but it's going to be a fun one to watch, a fun environment, man. We owe them from the Sugar Bowl back a few years ago, so going to be very interesting to see.
The we're back game.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd like to know your opinion on that one in a couple of weeks once we get going.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting to see, man. See where they're at. See what Texas is, and see where Georgia's at, too. And if Georgia wins in Alabama and Lexington, I think, you get Mississippi State and Auburn before that at home. And if both teams are undefeated, it's going to be a heck of a venue, and it's going to be tough to win. It's going to be tough to win.
Yeah.
Well,
and what injuries will be then.
This bigger conference, you just don't ever know. Because I know I was just looking back. One of your games earlier was Oklahoma at Auburn.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Oklahoma fans think they're just going to roll into the Plains and just beat them. Like,
oh yeah.
Not SEC.
I mean, you could roll into Morgantown, West Virginia, and Stillwater, Oklahoma, and Lawrence, Kansas, and all these places, and you're going to win because you're Oklahoma, right? But now every week's a war for them.
If Oklahoma rolls in there thinking they're just going to stomp them, they will leave with a loss.
That's right.
Or they'll escape with their tail between their legs.
That's right. Auburn will play Alabama A&M the next week and get beat by 20 points.
That's right.
I had to throw that in there.
I hate Auburn. Love a jab at Brother Hugh.
Yeah. Just the Colt.
Oh, yeah.
Who's the bigger Colt? Let me ask you, Trey, because I've asked Adam this a million times. Who's the bigger Colt between Clemson, Auburn, and Texas A&M?
Oh, my gosh.
That's a tough one, isn't it?
Texas
A&M, Auburn, and Clemson. Like who just has the weirdest culture,
One of my wife's best friends is going to hate me for this one.
Go ahead.
She's an Auburn fan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They can't even pick a mascot.
That's true. That's right.
So
they can't.
I'm going to have to go with a weird culture there.
Yeah.
And plus it's Auburn. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, Plainsman, War Eagle, Tiger. I mean,
And they love throwing toilet paper.
Yeah.
I, as much as I absolutely hate Clemson and Auburn, it is hard to get over the male cheerleader milkman at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Apparently, there's some really strong ties to the military, and I understand that, and we certainly respect.
They have a pretty good ROTC there, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. But I'm just talking about maybe it's time to do away with the the male cheerleaders in the sense of that, what they
Yes,
do, how
yes.
the Yale leaders per se at A&M, and the culture there with their type of male cheerleaders that dress in like what the milkman that would come around from door to door to deliver the glass bottles of milk back in the day were like. You get what I'm saying? I mean, I just kind of don't, that at each their own. Whatever, I'm not here, but that's just always been a very cringe moment is when I see videos circulating online from College Station when thousands of people get fired up by 18 to 22-year-old men prancing around in milkman costumes leading yells and cheers. But to each their own. To each their own.
Clemson would be a close second.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, they would be.
Yeah.
Gosh, they're just pretentious. Maybe that's the word, Clint. They act like they're holier than thou,
Yeah.
and I don't like it.
Yeah.
That's
Dabo
a
is like
good way
Joe
to describe
Osteen.
it right there.
Yeah.
Good way to
Dabo and Joe Osteen.
yeah. It's
I got to break out my shirt for Collins.
You do.
My Joe Osterine shirt.
I was about to make an
That's a great
accusation against Clemson. I'll have to do it offset. I can't do it on. Anyway.
That's right. God.
Oh boy! If we
Oh,
only
it's coming
said what
straight.
we
It's coming
really,
straight.
really wanted to on
We're
this
getting
podcast.
there.
I'm just kidding. All right, week
pop.
9, paper pop. Oh, shout out to Josh Pate. Man, the late kick. You listen to Josh Pate?
I do
at all?
not, but I'm going to have to.
Yeah, you need to,
I'm
man.
gonna
He's
have
good.
to.
He's a good listen. He's a
The
good
best
listen.
college football podcast out there.
I agree. That and
Like-
Cover 3.
Cover 3 is good too, yeah. All right, moving on. Week 9. Here we go. I don't know why I put Liberty on here again. Liberty at Kennesaw State, 7 o'clock. Listen, it's a Wednesday night, all right? Wednesday night is like one of the worst nights of the week. There's Tuesday and Wednesday. They just suck, right?
Yeah.
But Wednesday night, man, you get Liberty at Kennesaw State televised.
At Kennesaw State.
At Kennesaw State. Adam, we may go watch that game.
I tell you what, I went to Kennesaw State for a Cody Johnson concert. I can see how their venue gets a little rocking.
Yeah.
Confined, I mean, very, very, I don't know, confined quarters there.
Yeah.
Kind of an intimate setting with everybody, a small group of people just right on you.
Yeah.
Jamie Chadwell at Liberty, great first year there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you get Brian Bohannon. Not a big Brian Bohannon fan because he's a Paul Johnson. He's a Paul Johnson pupil, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be running the flex bone, I guess. I guess that's what they're still doing at Kennesaw State coming into the Conference USA.
Well, they were horrible last
I mean, if you
year,
want to talk about this game, I mean, yeah, I think Liberty goes in there and rolls. Okay.
Okay, I didn't
I
really
think,
need
yeah,
a full blown
yeah.
analysis. I was just kind of joking, but maybe we should take a Row 60 field trip out
So,
there.
yeah.
We need to get a bus, Adam, like a literal school bus. Paint it white,
You
put
know-
some red and black trim on it, and load up everybody. Let's
Do
go see
you
Kennesaw
know what
State
would
play.
happen after going to all these games on Saturdays? If I told my wife I'm going to the Liberty Kennesaw State game on a Wednesday night,
And you were being serious about
I was
it?
being- oh.
yeah. Oh my gosh, we may never see Adam Thornton again. Trey.
were the case.
You would be in the proverbial dog
Doghouse.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or maybe a literal dog house.
or a doghouse.
Or a doghouse. Yeah, literally.
That couch over there looks like you can sleep on.
That's
it.
right. That's right.
It's wide enough, yeah.
Oh, I love it.
But in all seriousness, here we go. Saturday, October 26th. Hey, this is another Georgia bye week before the Georgia-Florida game.
The traditional bye week.
That's right. We got some awesome games. Missouri at Alabama. Hey, Brady Cook, Elijah Drinkwitz. Don't sleep on them. I can't stand Elijah Drinkwitz. I like Missouri for otherwise. I mean, they're a respectable football program. I don't have a reason to hate them just yet.
They played Georgia well. The
They
past 2
do.
years.
They did.
Very
and,
well.
Very well.
You know, they've got a
They're physical, man.
very physical football team. Yeah.
I will say though, losing their defensive coordinator to LSU, I think will be a blow because I think he was really good and really that front seven for Missouri was really good for them.
They
And
played
so,
better than what they were. I think.
How would their defense be losing him? And I completely forgot his name.
It's okay.
Baker. Buddy Baker. I was going to say Buddy Baker, but that's off the Monsters. The Monsters
okay.
Inc. So that's not. Isn't that right?
I know there's a buddy or something.
It's a Blake Baker. Blake Baker, I think.
Okay.
Blake Baker.
That sounds right.
Yeah, Blake Baker, defense coordinator. Yeah, so we'll see how they are losing him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I got another.
Luther Burns stood.
Yeah, for sure.
She was in red and black, man.
Another two more SEC games here. Oklahoma at Ole Miss.
Yep.
That ought to be fun. LSU at A&M. We got Penn State at Wisconsin. FSU at Miami. Kansas at Kansas State. But I think the game here is definitely Florida State at Miami. Is this Miami team what people might potentially think they're going to be this year? I don't know.
Yeah.
What's Florida State going to be like? And I feel like both of these programs are on the brink of really busting it open and becoming that true best team in Florida and really dominating in the state in terms of recruiting and just winning on the field. So Florida State, Miami, though, I like that one. That's going to be a fun, entertaining matchup. Maybe we'll get a night game.
Don't forget you got Gus Malzahn down here at Central Florida.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Got KJ Jefferson
He
this
can
year.
always pull a couple of recruits.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's true.
That's true. Great point, Trey. Love that.
What do y'all think about Florida State, Miami, though?
I mean, it's always a great game. I mean,
Yeah.
back in the early 2000s, Larry Coker, Bobby Bowden, and Sean Taylor killing people on the field, like literally murdering them. I mean, with hits that would put them in jail today.
Yeah.
For how football was gotten was just glory.
Under the jail.
Under the jail. Under the jail. I mean, RIP, but great times, man. And that rivalry's kind of lost its luster because both of those programs went under. But, you know, there's a lot of promise for both of them and a lot of high expectations for both of them now. And I think it's a game that Mario Cristobal needs to win more so than Mike Norvell does. But I don't know, man. I mean, you're going to go play in front of 5,000 people in a 75,000 seat stadium. So, I mean, are we going to really say the venue's just going to be just rocking? Great
don't know,
atmosphere?
Adam. I mean,
no,
Florida
but
State
will it be a good game? I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Florida State beats them, maybe.
Depends on what Miami does up until that point.
That's a very good point. Yep.
We'll see.
And that's honestly, and people are probably tired of us saying that, but I mean, truly, we don't know where these teams are going to be on.
But it's fun. It's
October
like,
26th.
It's August. It's talking
All this
season. That's what we love.
Conference alignment this year is just going to throw a wrench in everything.
Yeah,
That's right.
Very much so.
Good point.
for sure. But other than that, I mean, it's a pretty chill bye week for Georgia. Nebraska at Ohio State. You got Michigan State at Michigan, Cincinnati at Colorado. Don't really know why I had that one listed, but and then Texas Tech at TCU. Hey, Kansas at Kansas State. That's going to be a fun matchup too. In-state rivalry there.
Yeah.
Kansas State's a legit team, I think, is what people are kind of talking about.
Right.
So what Kansas will be like 8-0 going in that game, and then they'll lose the last 4.
Yeah, that sounds about right. They'll start hot.
They'll start hot.
And then they'll die out. Yeah.
Good point.
For sure.
Playoff bound. And
Playoff band. That's right. That's right.
College game day and everything.
Oh, boy.
All right, Trey. Week 10, November 2nd.
you gave me an easy one on this one. I think.
Oh, really?
So, well, sort of.
All
So,
right.
Oh, let's hear it.
well, I got 2 questions for both of y'all.
All right.
So, Ole Miss, Arkansas. By that point, week 10, Pittman's still.
Oh, great question.
Pittman, is he still the coach by that point?
I'm going to say, I don't know Arkansas' schedule, though.
It's pretty tough.
Like, their over-under is like, the line is probably 4 for wins or something. Yeah,
He might not be, but do you really think they're going to make Bobby Petrino the interim? I think they would.
I think they hired him for that purpose.
God,
I-
man, it is
unfortunately.
insane to think about. It is
Full circle,
insane to
baby.
think about, man. Full circle, but
There's a lot of people there that still like him. How, I don't know, but
golly, it's crazy he's even on their staff. It's crazy he's back in the SEC, but then him still in Fayetteville, Arkansas was just unbelievable. I mean, a lot of desperation there. Trey, that's a good point. I'm going to say no. What about you?
I'm kind of the same way. I don't think he'll be there.
So is it going to be kind of a nothing to lose? Hey, let's just go out. Let's beat Ole Miss. We hate Ole Miss kind of a thing. Like, we're just going to throw anything and everything
With
at them.
Petrino leading the way?
Yeah,
feeling like
Petrino,
it's,
yeah.
Feeling like it's 2010
Hey.
again with Ryan Mallett, RIP, leading the way.
Did he die? Oh, he did die.
Yeah.
Man, Colt Brennan.
He drowned in
What's up
Panama.
with Didn't Colt Brennan wear, sorry, this is a huge
15.
change. 15?
Yeah.
Man, what's up with quarterbacks?
I don't know, man.
Who wore 15 dying, man. But Trey, that's a great point. Ole Miss at Arkansas. I mean, really, that could be one of those games where you just don't see it coming. And Arkansas pulls it out, yeah.
Then you got Kentucky at Tennessee. That
Great
depending
rivalry.
depending on what Kentucky does, that could be a spoiler for either team. Oregon and Michigan.
Yes.
What were you gonna say about Kentucky?
Oh, no, I was just going to say Tennessee fans will lose their mind if
Oh.
Kentucky came into Neyland and beat them. I'd love it. I would love it. Man,
And
you're right.
And that's a game. If Tennessee were to lose one early,
Yeah.
that ends their season.
That's right.
They're
That's
done.
right.
Oregon at Michigan, that's going to be a good game. It's at the Big House, 3.5 right now. Oregon's the favorite there, so we'll see how that goes. Of course, you got Ohio State, Penn State. That's always a classic. That'll guarantee that's a whiteout game.
Oh,
at Penn
yeah.
State every time.
That's right.
USC, Washington, flip a coin there. I'm interested to see how Lincoln Riley handles some of that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think he's losing week 1 to LSU. Washington, he's got to go up there. That'll be a late night game too.
Yeah.
That's right.
Arizona UCF, my bad. UFC, my bad. Old Gus Bus down there.
Yeah, man.
He that's got upset written all over
The
it.
bounce house. Yeah.
I mean,
The bounce house.
he can score points everywhere he goes.
right.
So, but the game of the week that week, Georgia, Florida.
There you go. Yes, sir.
The greatest largest.
Yes, sir.
outdoor
Largest
cocktail.
outdoor cocktail.
heard it both
Always will be
ways.
what
Yeah,
it is
that's-
referred to.
And there's no other way to refer to it.
Great point.
So,
Yeah.
And here's a question for that game: is Napier the coach when Florida and Georgia face off? Before I
Either
give you
way,
my
it's
pick.
going to be a bloodbath, in my opinion. But hey, I mean, who would they go get? Who would their interim be? Who's their?
I'm telling you what he's going to do. This is what
Oh,
I'm going to
gosh.
call. This
Oh,
is
boy.
what I'm going to call right now.
Hey, and wait, hold on. Let me preface this. You've been right about several of these preseason. Like, oh, this coach is not going to be here by this point. You did it last year, and I think you did it the year before. So,
Napier will still be there, and the scapegoat will be the young defense coordinator, Austin Armstrong.
oh my gosh, could you imagine? Wait a second. Just get a mental picture of what's his name, Armstrong.
Yeah,
I know what he
Austin
looks
Armstrong.
like. Austin
Yeah.
Armstrong and Kirby Smart shaking hands. They look. Very
No.
similar.
I'm talking about Napier will still be the head coach, but they will let go of Austin Armstrong mid-season as the
okay.
scapegoat, the young
Okay.
defense
Really?
coordinator.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to go with, and then Napier's out the door later on in the year, at the end of the year, maybe.
when they lose to Florida State.
Yeah,
something
like that. So.
I thought you were saying Austin Armstrong was going to be the
Oh, no,
the
no, no,
interim.
no,
Could
no,
you
no,
see
no,
the
no,
handshake
no.
between
Oh,
Kirby and
oh,
both
that would
wearing
be-
their
that would
visors?
be hilarious.
That'd be so
Oh, yeah.
funny.
Here's
I love
one other
this.
question. And this is for all Georgia fans, really. But Jacksonville, are you a Jacksonville fan? Or are you not a Jacksonville? Or would you rather see it go home and home?
Let me ask you.
Yeah,
let's
that's a great
ask you that
question.
because
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think the people know what we think about it. What do you think about it?
Okay, I'm probably in the minority on this one.
Oh,
I would like to see a 3-year rotation,
okay.
yeah.
home and home,
Yep.
and it'd be more like a 4 to 5 year rotation. Atlanta
Uh-huh.
and Jacksonville.
Yeah,
So,
like it. Yeah.
home and home. Atlanta 1 year, home and home.
I'd be
Jacksonville.
good with that.
Yeah.
And then that way, every player, if they stay 4 years, which is a rarity these days,
You play
but
all-
if you st- yeah.
You played every.
You play.
It is
You
cool.
play in Gainesville. You play in Athens. You play in Atlanta. You play in Jacksonville. I mean, I'm good with that. I love Jacksonville because of the tradition down
just
there.
the history of it.
And I love going down there to Amelia Island and the history of it. And I mean, I know it was a good thing to say pre 2017 that is the reason why we can't win down there. No, it was just because Spurrier was that good in the 90s, Urban Meyer was that good, and we just laid eggs in the Rick there during the Ron Zook years and like the
Right.
02-03 games, right? And then some more of that. But right now, I mean, we're seeing where Georgia's winning in Jacksonville. I mean, you know, they're destroying them. The tide's turned again. So, but I understand Kirby's argument more so of the losing a recruiting weekend. But I don't know, man. I love Jacksonville because of the history of it.
Right.
And,
I
but I
get
get all
that.
sides of it.
I
I
get
get all
that.
sides of it. And
Yeah.
honestly, I wouldn't be upset no matter what it does either way. But I tell you one thing: if Kirby Smart can't get it done to be a home and home, it's not going to be done.
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
too much money at play that it's going to be at Jacksonville because I think. I don't know how hard Kirby's tried to have it done, but I know he's come out and it's public knowledge to even just folks like us that he wants it home and home. But I just think there's too much money that even somebody as powerful as Kirby Smart cannot get that game changed to Athens and Gainesville. And I think I think the big indicator with it now is that the stadium's going under renovations like it did in the
Right,
mid '90s when you know, they did at Athens and Gainesville. And I wish they would have done that, gone to Athens again, because I would have loved for us to go to Gainesville and hang 50 on them like Spurrier did in Athens in 95.
I was at that game,
Oh, yeah.
unfortunately.
Whew,
Tell
that
us
was
about
bad.
it because
That was
I don't
bad.
know if anybody. I don't know if I've ever met many people who were at that game.
It's, the only good thing that happened that day is I believe that's the day the Braves won the World
You're
Series.
exactly right.
So,
That's,
Really?
yep,
so
that's
at least
right.
something good happened
Good
that day.
point. That's
Because-
right. That's a good history. You're exactly right, man.
Was it like a sweltering hot day or I mean, you remember?
I don't.
Yeah.
You probably don't want to remember.
Don't want to
anything
remember
about
that game.
I was 10.
Yeah. Oh wow.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go, man.
Dang.
That's that was that there. So come full circle, that would have been fun. But now it's been announced that's going to be Orlando and Atlanta in the off year. So that tells me there's no chance of it being home and home.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you're probably right.
Yeah.
But a great question.
Ooh,
I love talking
Orlando,
about
like
it.
Camping World Stadium.
Yes, sir.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the friendly confines of Camping World Stadium.
The last
the
time,
bounce house.
Adam. Last time we were there. Wait, the bounce house.
Yeah, that's what UCF is now called, the bounce house. That's the UCF's like nickname for their stadium.
Right. No, I know that. But Camping World Stadium and the bounce house are two separate stadiums.
Are
I thought.
they?
Yeah.
Are you
I
sure
think so.
about
I
that?
think so. Or maybe they aren't.
I don't think they are. There's no way there's two states.
I think. Wait, hold up. I think they're. Wait, no.
Here we go off the rails again.
UCF Bounce House.
Camping World Stadium.
Yeah, and then Camping. I don't think they're the same stadium.
So you mean that Camping World? Wait, is only there for the Cheez-It Bowl, and that's it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh man, you know who would be able to answer this in 0.2 seconds?
Who?
Chris Johnson.
Okay.
Patron.
I might have to ask him because I always thought they were the same state. Okay.
That's 100%. That's where Orlando City plays the soccer. Adam, you don't know anything about soccer, but nor do you care about
Me
soccer.
neither. Okay, never mind. I learned something today.
Yeah.
Camping World. Yeah. I don't know where it'd be at, but
How
yeah.
did we get to Camping World?
Georgia and Florida played there one game.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway,
Oh, my
proceed.
gosh.
Go on.
Well,
Go on. This is what happens. Our podcasts keep getting dragged up because me and Clark have these. We're two ADHD and we just go off down rabbit trails.
While I'm on a Georgia game, it's my pick of the week. I think Georgia take care of Florida. But here's something it's a opinion everybody has. Like Georgia is very much like Alabama. We wear that same uniform. I know we've worn the black jerseys. Now this is getting, like you said, off the rails here.
It's okay.
What's your take on maybe an alternate uniform, home and away?
Yeah.
Are you saying in general or for Florida?
In general.
I'll tell you this.
Because I think I was listening to an episode where y'all were talking about your dynasties, and I'll bring it back to when I used to play NCAA football 10 years ago on the old game.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And you see these recruits come in, and they'll put on the all whites. That's white pants, white shirts, white helmets. That'd be a good look. That'd be a good looking road uniform.
Yeah.
And then something I used to do playing that game, Georgia at home, all red.
All red. Yeah.
Pants, shirt, helmet,
Everything. All red.
I think it would be, or everybody likes the black. Why don't you just go all black?
I love it, man. I think.
I mean, just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
And I'm a tradition. And I'll say I'm a traditionalist. I like the red with the silver breeches shirt.
Yep.
I like the old school. But I would also like to see some of that just because NIL stuff like that.
Yes.
It's the thing now.
Yes. I agree, man.
Not a lot. Maybe once in a while.
I agree. Well, my two favorite alternate jerseys, I'll say this. It is a shame that the Alabama blackout in 2008 happened because that has done something my mind thing. Even though Georgia's won a couple national championships, all this stuff, Kirby's come in, it's a completely different program, everything. But the mind games has been played after what happened that night. It's like it makes no sense. The black jerseys had nothing to do with what happened in that football game that night. So let's get over that. Let's not make it a gimmick. Georgia's not a gimmick program anymore. Back then, it was. Yeah, it was. I mean, they tried to do the same thing when they went to Jacksonville, got smoked by Tebow in 2009 wearing the black helmets and black
red
pants.
face masks.
And the red face. I mean, they were horrible. And but now let's just designate, hey, Georgia's played Auburn this year. It's going to be a blackout. Fans wear black. Not make it a big deal. The week of, is it going to be a blackout? Is it not? Go ahead. Put it on the schedule. Georgia's wearing black jerseys, and they'll look good for recruits. It'll look good. Or a night game. Make it a night kick whenever a night kick is. First night kick of the season. Let's just say that. And then I think every time Georgia goes to Neyland Stadium, they need to wear red pants.
Ooh, see,
Red pants, white tops. Absolutely.
Yep. That because of the Herschel Walker, the history of that. And then the years they're not going to Neyland, just picking the away game where you wear red pants. I love when they played Arkansas in 2020 and broke them in to commemorate the 40-year anniversary of the 1980 team. They should be worn every year. I love the red pants, and it's not like it's trying to be nothing flashy. It's a throwback uniform. You know, it's tradition.
It's something that got worn a lot.
That's right.
I'm in the minority here. Actually, man, okay. I want you just
make
picture
the
this.
silver britches again.
Yeah, do that.
From the Jim Donovan.
Do that.
Yeah.
Keep the current black jerseys. Actually, I don't know. The 2007-8 ones were awesome. They were perfect. The block lettering. They were better.
With the red trim.
Okay.
With the red
but hear me
And
out.
simple red trims.
Yep.
Okay, but hear me out. We take the silver britches, we go back to a true silver, shiny silver.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And we get the black tops. And then instead of the red helmet, so I do think that's a great look. That's the best look. But what if we did a gray helmet that matches the pants, a silver?
Yeah. Well, that's
you
old school.
imagine?
That's a throwback.
Yeah.
That's a throwback.
Yeah,
I mean,
used to
Francis
put the G.
Tarkin and them used to do it with the block G on there. Yeah. I mean,
Could you imagine? That'd be sick.
But my thing is like Trey's shirt. It says "Go you silver britches." I have a shirt like everybody. Go you silver. That's a thing, man. It's not go you gray britches.
Yeah,
It's
you got a
silver,
point.
man.
Oh man, good stuff.
Sorry to get y'all off topic.
No. This happens regularly, Trey.
That's right.
All right, week 11, Adam, you're up next.
Woo,
and
man.
after that, man, we've got well, dang, 3 more.
We're getting close to the end of the year. This is about the time of the year I'm always sad to see come because it means football season is ending. But this year, though, you get a whole lot more extended football throughout the month of December on into the month of January. So that's exciting and good news. All right, what we got here? We got, heck of a slate here. You kick off the weekend, Iowa at UCLA, new Big Ten game. I think Iowa will go take care of business in Los Angeles at the Rose Bowl. Speaking of which, if you haven't already, if you're listening to this, go listen to the UCLA coaches media day at the Big Ten media day.
It's awkward.
It is a very awkward encounter. We'll see how he does leading young men. God bless him. But he might just be nervous in front of the podium. Man, you got to give. He might have had the yips his first time speaking. But anyway, I'm getting.
He could have been hammered
big time
from the night before,
or the plane ride over. Saturday, November 9th, Alabama at LSU. Always a great game, especially when it's in Baton Rouge. That'll be DeBoer's really big first taste of that rivalry game. Weird things happen at LSU and Alabama. You think about 2012, that game. You think about 2 years ago, the overtime game, man, and the Burrow game in 19. I mean, they're always good football there. Brian Kelly, I think, really needs to win this football game. That'll be in Baton Rouge. That's always fun. So that's a good one. Oklahoma at Missouri, I think, is going to be very interesting. Old Big 12 rivals right there. I think Missouri has a lot of built up over the past 12 years of not playing them hate for Oklahoma. I think they'll have them in Missouri, and that place will be Faro Field will be absolutely rocking. And I think they could pop Oklahoma in that game. Washington Penn State's a good game, man. Clemson at Virginia Tech going there. Enter Sandman. I don't know where those programs will be at. Florida at Texas.
I love how you just tagged Enter Sandman just casually. Just like,
it's great. Yeah, great venue, great environment. Florida at Texas. 12 o'clock noon game right there. I don't know. I think it'll be very interesting to see if Napier's still there or not. Coming off the Georgia Florida game, be very interesting. And Florida State Notre Dame. Florida State going up to South Bend. So a lot of good football games, but of course what I'm going to pick as a Georgia fan, because I think it is what I said earlier, one of the 3 games as a Georgia fan you highlight going into this year. Georgia at Ole Miss, Trey. I think that this game, even though last year in Athens it got out of hand, this game scares me. Oxford is not a fun place to play. It's not like it's a very intimidating, loud environment. It's just a weird environment. And it's one of these things, man, it's not a very big – the fans don't get rowdy. It's more of a party, the tailgate, and everybody knows about the Grove. It's not that it seats in a massive amount of people that are just over you. It's just a weird place to play, I feel like. And Georgia absolutely got boat raced in Kirby's first year going there, which has nothing to do with this year. But even though I don't think Florida is going to be a tough game for Georgia, I think going back to Jacksonville, talking about that, it's always emotional going to a neutral site like that with the uniqueness that only like teams like Arkansas, A&M, and Oklahoma and Texas and Georgia, Florida have. Coming off of that and then going to Oxford with a team that's going to be probably looking to go to their first SEC championship game, maybe if they beat Georgia and win a couple more to end the season ever. Yeah. Ole Miss has never played in an SEC championship, so it'll be rocking, man, and I think it's going to be a tough game for Georgia to win. I think Georgia will win it, but that's definitely one of those games that I see that Georgia could slip up this year, and I think that'll be the game of the week. I think it'll be a nightcap. I don't know. They might be a 3:30. They might. I don't know if they're going to lead Alabama and LSU into Georgia and Ole Miss or Georgia and Ole Miss and Alabama LSU.
Well, you know good and well Lane Kiffin wants to pay back for what we did to them last year. I mean, we boat raced them last year.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think Georgia will win it, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, and I think it's going to be a game that we, of course, have circled right now in August and is going to loom even larger as the season progresses in this late season game.
For sure. All right, we'll speed this up just a hair, but I'm going to go to week 12. Good pick there, Adam.
Thank you.
Saturday, November 16th, we got several. Tennessee at Georgia, LSU at Florida. Be fun. Missouri at South Carolina. We got Nebraska at USC. Dylan Raiola on the road. Who is USC's quarterback? Do we know?
I have no clue.
Me neither.
Me either.
No clue.
Who cares?
Don't care. Yeah, don't care, really.
It may not matter at that point.
Yeah. Oregon at Wisconsin, Ohio State at Northwestern, Texas at Arkansas. So, I don't know. I mean, a pretty fun slate of games. If I had to pick one, I don't know. I mean, it honestly depends on how good Tennessee is. And, I mean, I hate to keep picking Georgia, but Tennessee at Georgia could be an interesting game.
Yeah,
if
man,
Nico
absolutely.
and them get hot, if Nico figures it out and they start getting hot, at the end of the season, which could very well happen.
If they're a one-loss team still in the hunt there, I mean, that's going to be a big game. Coming off Ole Miss, too.
Right.
I mean, you can, even though it's at home, you're coming off of an emotional couple weeks between a rivalry game against Florida and then probably big-time hype national game against Ole Miss, night game. Maybe Kirk and Chris Fowler are going to be there and everybody. And then you come home, even though it's at home against Tennessee. I don't know, man.
Could be a potential top 5
Could be.
matchup.
Yeah,
if
maybe.
they both get hot, or
Yeah.
don't lose any games they
That's
should
right.
lose.
And what's great is, and I've said this the past, I feel like 2 seasons, I said it last season, playing Ole Miss and Tennessee back-to-back, you get used to that tempo, especially at practice. That's a good thing. That plays in Georgia's advantage a little bit, I would say. I don't know, though. LSU at Florida sounds very interesting. Who is LSU's quarterback? Is it Nussmeier or what?
Nussmeier.
Nussmeier.
Yeah.
And then Graham Mertz. LSU might be a fringe team for the playoff. Could be. They should be. LSU should be back on the map by now.
They should be. They should be.
I don't
they
know.
should be.
What would y'all pick out of that list? Tennessee at Georgia, LSU, Florida,
Tennessee at
Nebraska,
Georgia.
USC.
Yeah, Tennessee,
Tennessee, Georgia.
Yeah.
Are we just homers?
I mean, that is
just
a
kidding.
game.
It's
kinda
That
hard
would
not
the
to
game.
be,
Yeah, hard
but-
not
Yeah.
to be. But yeah, 100%.
Well, we bring the hype, right?
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
That's
we
right.
bring
Georgia
the big
brings
game
the hype.
aspect.
Now, as a Georgia fan, when Georgia goes anywhere or anybody comes to Georgia, all eyes of America are going to be on the University of Georgia in Athens.
You see any other games there, Trey?
And cheering against Georgia.
That Oregon-Wisconsin game at Wisconsin late in the season,
Oh, yeah.
that could
Might be fun.
that could be an upset
It's a fun
watch.
game.
Yeah.
It's a fun game. If Luke
Because
Fickle figures
it's going to be
it out.
cold. You might get snow. You might not. You just never know up there that time of year.
Yeah.
That's right.
Of course, that Texas-Arkansas, depending on what's still there,
Yeah.
that's got
Yeah.
Upset potential, yeah.
upset potential for just messing up the whole hierarchy in the SEC.
For sure.
Just
Yeah.
could cause somebody. I mean, just standings-wise, because without having divisions this year,
That's right.
it's going to
Yeah.
be wins, loss, and it's going to go tiebreakers. Who's beating who? And
Right.
I don't know the exact formula they're going to use, but I guarantee there's going to be a few teams there,
All tied up.
3-4.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Going to be tied up, and no telling what it's going to do. So.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
We've only seen that. We've seen it only a handful of times since the birth of the SEC championship, where you've had a tie of some
Right,
sort.
Yeah.
right,
you know, in a division. So it will be interesting to see how that gets worked out this year. And I mean, you're going to have a lot of 2-loss teams, 1-loss teams at that point in the season.
That's right.
I say a lot. I mean, a few, but enough to make a tie.
I mean, Georgia
happen.
plays Alabama, Texas plays or Alabama plays Texas and Georgia. Somebody's got to lose those games.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah.
there's no telling what
It's going to be something, man. I mean, when you're taking it, yeah. I mean,
you
like
never
said-
know who Vanderbilt's going to slip up.
Yeah, the Commodore's going to come in.
Because let me tell you something. Texas and Oklahoma take them too lightly. They're liable to give them a scare.
I can't tell if you're joking or not.
Hey, I went to a Vanderbilt Georgia game in Vanderbilt, and Georgia was losing at halftime by a safety.
Wait, which one was this?
That would have been back in it'd have been in mid 2000s.
Okay.
05?
That might be right.
Might have been.
Somewhere around in that time.
05
Man,
or
Trey-
07. 07 might have been. I think 07 was a close one up there.
I think it.
We've had several close ones up there.
Actually,
Actually,
has
it
been.
might have
11
been.
was
It might have
very
been
close.
03.
03 might, yeah.
Because I want to
Yeah.
say it was my freshman year in college.
They would have had Jay Cutler.
And
right.
we just couldn't get anything going. It was I think it was one of those early kickoffs, and
Oh, yeah.
but now Georgia they
I think it was 03, Trey. I think you're
came out in the
100%
second
right.
half, and
Took care of business.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Trey believes in the Clark, the fighting Clark. Lees.
The fighting Clark Lees. I like it.
I've seen Georgia struggle too much against Vanderbilt. Now,
Yeah.
in the Kirby Smart era, it doesn't happen as much.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
Georgia still doesn't like a 12 o'clock game.
That's true.
Except in the first year.
That game
First
still
year.
scares. That game still scares me. I don't care who we're playing.
That's right.
All right, Trey, week 13, November 23rd. What you got?
Oh, Lordy. There's a lot of good games on this one. Kentucky at Texas. Texas has A&M the next week.
No,
So that's is that old Southwest Conference matchup
Yes,
there?
sir.
So
Yes,
that's
sir.
even going further back than the
Then the Big 12.
Big 12.
Yeah.
So that's a Texas. Could they look ahead of that game potentially? Colorado. We haven't talked a lot about Colorado. I'm interested to see what old Prime does up there. But
Yeah, where's he going to be at this point in the season?
my question is if he doesn't have a good year, is he looking for another job,
Yeah.
or is he just too big of a draw?
I think he'll be with his son leaving. is he really wanting to actually build a program
Right.
up there and stay?
I'm kinda
Or is it
wondering.
just kind of coaching him, getting him to the NFL, and then going to just ride off and just leave Colorado in shambles?
take another job for some money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It'll be very interesting to see play out.
A&M's at Auburn that week.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I'm interested to see what happens with Auburn this year because they could go one of two ways. They could have a decent year, but you never know.
Yep.
But I got Oklahoma, Alabama circled on this one
Nice.
because
Yes.
it's just once again conference championship implications. You don't ever know. And I put out here just a note: Oklahoma plays LSU the following week.
That's right.
So
That's right.
could you look ahead of Alabama? I mean, can you even look ahead of Alabama?
I don't think you can. But I mean,
But you also got to have you're going to LSU the next week, so
Yeah.
yeah,
that's going to be a tough one.
It will be.
Yeah.
and so but you also got Wisconsin and Nebraska, but I have to go with Alabama and Oklahoma.
that ought to be a good one.
So we'll see.
I mean, truly though, Alabama might just. This is where I could see Alabama season going one of two ways. I could see them running the table actually and piecing it together because I don't think their schedule is really difficult at the front end. Of course, they do have us, but if they can get it figured out, even if they have one loss and they're up to this point, like you got to go in and win Oklahoma if you want that. If you want that, and look, all teams want that automatic bid in the playoff. They want to be conference champions.
That's right.
Not only to be conference champions, but to get that playoff bid because that's a huge competitive advantage, and that's
Getting
why
a
I don't
bye
like
right
it.
there in that point of season,
You get a full blown bye.
Exactly
and I mean,
right.
man, that's a lot more time. You get to prepare for the next opponent that you have to play, and you get to rest guys, and especially this year with the playoff. You got to have some rest. So this is a huge matchup. I'm in total agreement with you.
That's right.
Alabama at Oklahoma. Yeah,
Great pick.
Alabama
pick.
could also have 3 losses
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah,
because that would be they play Texas and Georgia, and that would be number 3. So they might be outside looking in potentially. But
Yeah.
like you said,
wait, Alabama and Texas play?
I don't think so. I
Oh,
think
I missed that, my bad.
no, you're good. You're good, man. It's every SEC team either has Texas or Oklahoma
That's right.
this year, but
my bad.
But they
you're
could
good.
play them in the SEC championship.
Very well.
I don't know. It's who knows what's going to happen, and that's what I'm so excited about this year. But Alabama and Oklahoma, I think, is a team that interests me a lot in the sense of that. How's Seth Luttrell going to do? Jeff Lebby, the former Oklahoma offense coordinator, now at Mississippi State. So Venables, has he gotten some pieces now in year 3 where he's built up the defense that Lincoln Riley did not have a defense whatsoever when he was there, and Venables a big defensive front guy. As he got some pieces that if he's transferred in, had some decent top 10 recruiting classes coming in to have a respectable SEC defense that he's trying to build. And Jackson Arnold, you push away Dylan Gabriel, who was a veteran quarterback, man. For a kid that's supposed to have all this hype, how good is Jackson Arnold going to be? A lot of question marks for Oklahoma that could go either way. They could have a rough year, and because everybody's Texas. That's it should be, but Oklahoma, man, they beat Texas last year, and I know they laid an egg in some games that they shouldn't have and got beaten, took them out of playoff contention and everything, but. Still, man, year 3 of Venables, and I think the unknown of Luttrell, who was the former head coach at North Texas, how he's going to do running the offense. He was there as an analyst last year, and then Jackson Arnold. So we'll see. It could be big, especially in Norman.
I feel like on the national media, the Oklahoma's sort of flying under the radar a little bit.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, you got
they
Texas, you got Alabama,
Yep.
you got Georgia,
Yep.
you got Oklahoma, Tennessee.
That's right.
You don't hear people talk, and their
Miss this.
defense is supposed to be better this year.
That's right.
So
That's right.
they're that's one of those teams I think is going to sneak up and get a few.
That's right.
folks if-
That's right. 100%, man.
We'll see.
100%. I agree.
They're likely to choke in the playoff,
That's
as
right.
we know.
Choklahoma.
Oklahoma. That's
They
it.
are notorious.
That's
My
it.
gosh,
That is
y'all
it.
remember they got skull dragged against LSU in 19.
Oh, they did.
That's my
Oh,
favorite. That's my favorite word
The
to
Lincoln
use.
Riley
Skull
Oklahoma
drag.
playoff games always get beat. Everybody remembers the Rose Bowl, lost to Alabama in the Orange Bowl, lost that game 3 years in a row, early exit from the first round of the playoff. After going through it, what they would do is then they get beat by like somebody like Kansas State and lose one game in the Big 12, sneak in as a 4 seed or a 3 seed in the playoffs, and then get destroyed in the opening game. Or the Rose Bowl was a classic, but get beat.
One game, Trey. I don't think you mentioned this one. Ole Miss at Florida.
No, I didn't.
Gosh, man, I'm telling you, if look, and this could be a very real possibility. Lane Kiffin and the Rebels are what 11-1, or I guess that'd be closer to 11-0.
Probably
Lane-
10-1,
10-1, something 9-1, something like that. They have one loss.
Yeah.
Going up into this point, and they got to go to the Swamp in late November. I mean, I don't know. Florida, maybe Florida's just
Job
terrible.
interview for Lane Kiffin.
Oh,
Ooh.
you think so? No, he wouldn't go to Florida.
He's kind of got that Spurrier swag to him.
That would be terrible.
Job interview for Lane Kiffin right here. Wanting to impress the Florida brass to be the next guy.
I
for
never would
Billy.
have thought of that. but-
Mark it. I will
Down
say,
right now. Oh, he would crawl on his hands and knees to go to Gainesville.
lot of money down there that would.
Yep.
yeah, a lot of resources.
I mean, a lot of more resources.
Lot of
over- Yep,
resources.
so.
than Oxford, Mississippi.
He's got a Spurrier vibe to him.
I mean,
unfortunately,
he
Yeah.
will want them to get their NIL cranked up better, but I mean,
I think it's there. I think
Yep.
they just got to have the right guy there.
gotta do it.
I don't think Napier's. it.
Napier's. So very interesting. Let's see what happens.
All right, Adam. End it
man.
with week 14
Rivalry
of college
week,
football
baby.
rivalry week.
Very excited about this, man. This is my favorite week of the year. Love Thanksgiving, and then in the Friday and Saturday of college football field. Let's see. Is there not a Thanksgiving Day night college
Game?
football game?
I don't think so.
Thanksgiving.
Maybe
Think
the
not.
Egg Bowl. No. They pushed. I think they pushed everything to Friday.
Yeah. So all right.
NFL only on.
Okay, on Thanksgiving this year. Okay. Friday, man. Let's start with Friday. Oklahoma State at Colorado. That might have Big 12 championship implications right there. I mean, it might. Who knows? I don't think Colorado will be in it, but Oklahoma State very well could be. Egg Bowl, always fun to watch, man. Not really any implications for anything but pride, but who knows where Ole Miss is going to be this year. Jeff Lebby and Lane Kiffin, I do not think have a great relationship either, so that's going
Perfect.
to be perfect. I love that.
Entertaining.
I love when head coaches don't like head coaches of each other, especially at rival schools. I love that. Like Dan Mullen, miss Dan Mullen for that reason.
Yeah, me too.
Georgia Tech at Georgia. Georgia playing on a Friday night, man. I'm excited about it.
What's your take on this?
I like
Moving
it.
You
I like it. I like it just for the simple fact it's different. We're going to eat some turkey at the tailgate that day.
Hey, we get one extra day of rest
Night
before
game.
the SEC championship.
That's right. And
if
one
needed.
extra day of rest, and then you could just enjoy Saturday's slate, man. So I like that from the standpoint of Georgia will play like Massachusetts the week before. So it's not like you're coming, it will make a big difference in the one day of rest coming from week 13 to 14. But one day of rest before the SEC championship game. So I like that, man. National stage Friday night game. I don't remember the last time Georgia played a weeknight game in the regular season. I know it hadn't been in the 2000s. I can say
it's
that.
been a
I know the
long
last
time.
one I could think of, and there probably has been a Thursday night or something game since then, maybe in the 90s that I can't think of. But I know they played Labor Day night on a Monday night against Clemson in '82, the first night game at Sanford Stadium. But there probably has been one since then, but I don't know. So very unique in this aspect, man. But that'll be good just for this fact. Hey, Georgia Tech is going to be Brent Key hates Georgia. Kirby hates Georgia Tech. I love it. Let's see where they're at. Let's line it up. Let's go tail whooping on the Friday night after Thanksgiving. But the game I'm going to pick, man, Oklahoma LSU is going to be fun to watch. I mean, Iron Bowl is always fun. Florida State. I mean, the list goes on and on, just historic rivals. But the game of this weekend, and any college football fan is already fired up for in August, even if you have zero affiliation with either one of these schools, is Texas at Texas A&M. The hype for that and the pure hatred. We say we hate Clemson, we hate Florida, we hate Tennessee. We do. But it's a different kind of hate down in Texas for Texas and Texas A&M, man, and it's been built up for a long time because they have not played on the gridiron since 2011, Thanksgiving night, and a lot of bragging rights and a lot of smack talk has been talked for many years for this game. College Station will be rocking. Can't even imagine what the ticket sales will be for that, especially if Texas is having a good year. Mike Elko's first year. I cannot wait for that football game, and I would say that the rest of the college football world is going to be glued their eyes to the TV for that matchup. Surely it'll be a 7:30 kick. Chris Fowler, Kurt Herbstreit there. Maybe both teams will be having respectable years enough that it might have implications, man. It might be. I mean, Texas A&M would love to win in College Station, keep Texas out of the SEC championship their first year in the league conference. So, I mean, a lot of storylines there for it, but finally a return of Texas versus Texas A&M. Love it.
Let me ask y'all both a question. Georgia playing more night games this year. Love it, hate it.
Love it. 100%.
Love it.
I don't know anybody that wouldn't.
Love a
agree.
night game,
I
man.
agree.
Love a night game.
You always get that because people want more night games, but
Yeah.
when's the last time we had this many night games already scheduled?
That's right,
Yeah.
man.
And I think you're going to get a few more that are on the flex.
That's right.
So
For
That's
sure.
right. That's right.
Yeah, it gives everybody enough time to get what is the word here? Hydrated.
Prepared.
Hydrated.
Prepared.
Not necessarily
To get
us, but
raucous.
I'm just saying others.
To get
others out
raucous,
there.
to get just raucous and rowdy and getting ready to go.
watch out for the brown water.
Yeah.
That's it. They'll sneak
But
up on you in
I
these
tell you
type
what,
of environments.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the Friday night game against Tech. Black Friday, too. Hey,
Yeah.
you're talking about alternate jerseys. That's when we break out the black
jerseys. That's exactly right.
You
I like
can't-
it.
I like
not a
it.
better
I
time.
like it.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, literally, it just makes sense. Black
Night
Friday,
game,
blackout.
black. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Love it, man. Love
Good
it.
stuff. Man. Oh, one more game, two here. Well, two more. You got the Iron Bowl, always fun. And then the game, Michigan at Ohio State, which ought to be a lot of fun as well. But
Yeah, of course. Always.
I mean, those are kind of givens. So,
Yep.
but yeah, I'm with you there. Texas at Texas A&M, be great.
Ryan Day can't lose that game. Can't lose Michigan 4 years in a row.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
Be interesting.
What if he does?
I can't. If he loses to Oregon and goes 10-2 and loses to Michigan at the end, man.
I love how Trey is just throwing out. What
I
if,
love it.
What
What
if
is-
this coach
what-
gets
it's
fired
true.
at this time of the year? I
He
like
might.
it.
I am the devil's
They
advocate.
they have paying their NIL fund. What they're paying, $16 million or so.
Golly.
I think that's about right. The number. I mean, they are literally trying to buy a national championship, and I mean not yet, but literally this year. You know, but then we were talking about this the other day. Will Howard is our quarterback. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
the lineup, the defense is good, skill players, all this stuff. Judkins coming in, but Will Howard as your quarterback, really? And all the quarterbacks Ohio State's had, you think they could have went and bought somebody better than him? But I don't know. He might be eating crow. He might have a good year in his system. Big question mark. Cannot wait to see where Ohio State winds up being, and if we're on a collision course with Ohio State in Atlanta, Georgia, in late January. We'll see.
I think you have a big shot seeing Michigan, Ohio State, probably Oregon
Yep.
in the playoffs. I mean, you may not, just depending on how everything falls, but I think they're a 3-team conference too.
Yep. Yep.
You could definitely get three in there, and three
SEC.
to four SEC.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if you have the at-large. So
Yeah, that's true.
And then you get to listen to everybody cry about the SEC.
Yeah.
4 teams.
Love it.
Exactly.
Love it, baby. Love it.
Well, folks, that about wraps it up
man.
here on the Rose 60. Thanks for sticking around, man. That was a longer show, but we had a lot of fun here. Trey, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Yep,
dude.
yep,
great,
yep.
great time we've had here. What's your strategy this year going into your Pick'em League? I'm assuming you're going to play again, right?
Oh,
You got to defend your
absolutely.
title.
Gotta defend
I've
your
been
title.
waiting for it to come across. So
Good deal.
So I can get in there and
Start thinking.
yeah.
That's right.
So what is your strategy? I got to know. You got to give the third people a bone.
Well, one thing I like to do is I'm a huge Georgia fan.
right.
right.
Georgia did not do well for me last year.
Oh.
Picking.
No, you're right.
And the one week I was like, they're going to cover. I forget which, maybe in Kentucky or somebody. So they're going to cover this week, and they didn't cover.
Oh, no.
They didn't hardly
Yeah.
score. I was like, oh. But,
So
I
you
mean,
pick against Georgia.
I don't actually.
Oh.
I picked Georgia a lot, and they didn't do good. Well, they didn't do well against the spread last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they hurt me a couple times, but there's a couple times that they. I mean, I don't know if I got a point from Georgia last
Wow.
year.
Oh,
Either
wow.
I picked against them
Yeah.
and they covered,
Yeah.
or I picked them to cover
Right.
and they didn't.
Man.
So it's kind of. I think this year I'm gonna have to put a coin on them. Just
There
flip
you
it.
go.
There you
So
go.
that's the
I'm
strategy.
going to take my brain and my heart out of it.
Yeah.
There you
Just
go.
Flip a
Love
coin
it.
and
Love
see what old quarter does.
Yeah,
There
old
you
lady
go.
luck.
Old
That's
lady
right.
luck.
Old lady
There you
luck.
go.
gets
But
you.
I try to just, with NIL and transfer portal,
Mm-hmm.
it'll take a few weeks to kind of figure out what everybody has.
Yeah.
True.
Because that's to me the biggest unknown with everything. You got
that's right.
transfers because the quarterback from Oklahoma, where'd he end up?
Oregon.
Oregon.
Yep.
So you lose a good quarterback at Oklahoma, you gain a good one at Oregon. So that's
Yep.
going to help them. It's just hard to tell.
That's right.
What does Vandergrift going to Kentucky do?
Good point,
He gets
man.
to show his stuff. You don't ever know.
You don't know. You don't
there's
know.
so many unknowns. We're just
There
going to have
is.
to unwrap them as we go.
There he is, man.
It's just kind of look and see what you got, and just try not to read too much into it.
Exactly.
That's right.
And that's the beautiful thing about it. I mean, we can sit here and talk till we're blue in the face about this season and predict and try to speculate, but when we really figure out what these teams do is on Saturdays.
That's
in
right.
front of our
That's exactly-
TVs and,
And I
in the
can't wait.
stadiums. And
I can't
that's
wait.
great.
I can't wait. Love it, Trey. Love it.
Yeah, Trey, man, really,
Adam
really
Clark, I
it.
appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, brother. You did a great job.
You did, man.
Absolutely great
Yeah.
job. Brought a lot of wisdom to this show,
Absolutely.
man. And that was fun going over the schedule. For sure.
Absolutely.
Well, Adam, wrap this thing up, man.
Man,
Put
I'm
a bow
telling
on
you
it.
what, after going through this, you can't help but be excited. What we did here, folks, is letting you know what weddings you're not going to attend, what baby showers you will not be at, that you will be sending the gift. U.S. Postal Service is your friend. Go pick out a nice gift. Maybe spend a little bit extra on gifts because you're not going to be attending, because you're going to be in front of the TV watching these games. So here's your warning right now. Here's your warning right now that you know which weeks that you're going to have to shift and schedule stuff, or either, hey, you're going to have your wedding at this time, or I'm not being there, you know? So you're either going to have to start your wedding at 10 a.m. in the morning and be done by 12, or I'm not coming. So we have just kind of gave you a guide to what weeks you need to carefully consider when you're going to go to your, you know, if your child has his 5th birthday party.
My daughter's 4th birthday party is September 14th. Roll that back to September
Okay.
14th.
September 14th. Yeah, we got to.
Let's see.
Yeah. You're going to have to make sure you get the timing on that right.
September 14th.
Yeah. So my little girl, my oldest child, will be 4 on Saturday,
Oh, yeah.
September 14th.
Well, see, Georgia will be playing at night.
Yeah, Georgia does play at night.
So that's
Good,
good. That's
good.
fine. That's what I'm talking about. If you're going to do it,
We-
you schedule it around.
We've already done that.
There you go,
at you.
Trey. Like setting an example right there, so people get your priorities right. Is what I'm saying. As of the dropping of this episode, we're 17 days away to Georgia football, baby. Revenge tour coming back. It is time to take back the title, man. And couldn't be any better. Practice reports will just make you fired up if you hear the guys like Jalen Walker showing out. The defense just looks like they're going to be absolutely just outstanding. Nate Frazier at running back, man. The speed demon, man. Carson Beck being Carson Beck. These guys are ready to go. Clemson's not going to know what's coming, man. We're 17 days away until toe meets leather in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Get fired up. Start wearing your red and black even more right now, because the best time of the year is upon us. And here, people, we love y'all. See you next week. Go Dogs.
Go, Dogs.
Go Dogs.